Yooyoung is super nice, and that's what everyone says about her. She wishes she could break away from that image, but she doesn't have the guts or energy to do it. So, she just studies hard and follows the path laid out for her. Even passing the bar exam doesn't impress her parents. Today, nice Kim Yooyoung is waiting for her blind date. Back at home, her mom tells her she has to make this guy fall for her. Her own opinions don't matter anyway. To her mom, a marriage of convenience is just a business deal with no love involved. Her mom says that if someone wealthy and powerful wants to meet her, all she needs to do is look pretty next to him. If Yooyoung wants to be useful to the family, she has to marry into a prominent family. Her mom is pretty blunt about it. She tells Yooyoung that this is the only way to help the family. It doesn't matter what Yooyoung wants or how she feels. Her mom just sees this as an opportunity to secure a good future for everyone. So, Yooyoung has to put on a nice dress, smile, and try to impress this guy. She feels a bit like a pawn in a big game, but she doesn't see any way out of it. This is just what she has to do to make her family happy. Right now, it won't stop raining. Yooyoung thinks he might not come because it's pouring, or maybe he changed his mind and doesn't want to get married to someone like her. Suddenly, her phone rings. The caller asks where she is, and she says she's already here. It looks like today's blind date is going to happen no matter what. She tells the caller that she's sitting next to the window. A moment later, he sees her. As he walks in, she remembers the night before and realizes it's the same man she saw then. He asks her if she's been waiting long, and she says no, she got here quickly since she's staying at this hotel. He stretches out his hand and says his name is Cha Jihoon. She introduces herself as Kim Yooyoung. She wonders how her one bad deed led to this moment. Last night, Jihoon had mentioned that they didn't even know each other's names. She had asked if it was really important, and he had smiled and said no, not at all. Now, in the present, he says it's important that they know each other's names. She can't help but think about how strange this all is. Just last night, names didn't matter, but today they do. It's like everything has changed overnight. Flashback to late last night, Yooyoung sits at the bar in a pretty red dress. She has lived a submissive life and feels like she's at the peak of a boring existence. For once, she wants to do something bad. As she sips her drink, she thinks to herself that this doesn't suit her at all. She decides she'll just finish her drink and go back to her room. Just then, Jihoon walks in. He sits close to her at the bar and orders a Glen Murray. She notices him and feels a mix of curiosity and nervousness. This small act of rebellion, being at the bar in a red dress, starts to feel more significant as she watches him. He seems confident and relaxed, a stark contrast to how she feels. They both stare at each other, and Yooyoung doesn't even realize she's staring. Even his expensive suit can't hide his firm body. His eyebrows are furrowed, probably because of his slightly messy hair. The cold look at the tip of his sharp nose warns her not to look at him, but she can't help it. She came here to let loose, to do something different, but he's not the one she expected. They don't seem like a good match. She feels out of place, like they come from different worlds. He seems so put together, despite his disheveled hair, while she feels like she's pretending to be someone else in her red dress. As they continue to look at each other, she wonders what he's thinking. Is he judging her? Is he as out of place as she feels? This moment is nothing like what she had in mind when she decided to do something bad. She realizes she needs to snap out of it and get back to her room, but something about him keeps her rooted to her seat. Jihoon asks Yooyoung how she likes her whiskey, and she says it's good, but inwardly, she knows that's a lie. She doesn't even know much about the taste or scent. Jihoon then asks if it isn't too strong for her. She admits honestly that it kind of is. He suggests she should try ordering a twice up, which is a mix of water and whiskey in equal parts. He explains that it has the same scent, but isn't as strong. She thinks to herself that he's dangerous, dangerously charming. He then asks if she came by herself, and she says yes. He asks Yooyoung if he can sit next to her. She knows he's not the type of man she can handle, but she can't refuse him. She nods, and he takes the seat beside her. From Jihoon's perspective, he usually doesn't bother getting involved with other people. Even when he stops by the bar for a short break, he never talks to any women sitting there. But for some reason, Yooyoung catches his eye. He wonders why she's drinking here alone. As he sits next to her, he finds himself curious about her. There's something different about her, something that makes him want to know more. He notices her uneasy demeanor, and wonders what brought her here tonight. He's not one to strike up conversations easily, but with her, it feels different. He's intrigued and wants to find out more about this woman, who seems so out of place yet captivating. Yooyoung keeps shifting in her seat, looking uncomfortable in the unfamiliar bar. She tries to cover her exposed legs and shoulders, but at the same time, she scans the men in the bar. She doesn't fit in here at all. After they finish their drinks, they head to the elevator. Yooyoung staggers a bit, and Jihoon asks if she's all right. She admits the alcohol was too strong. She knew it was too much for her. Jihoon comments that it was around 40%. She feels a bit embarrassed but appreciates his concern. As they wait for the elevator, she can't help but think about how this night has turned out so differently from what she expected. The elevator stops suddenly, and Yooyoung staggers, but Jihoon catches her. He asks if she's okay, and she assures him she's fine, thanking him for his help. Inwardly, Jihoon feels her body heat against his, and despite her silence, he senses something in her half-opened lips and sparkling eyes, as if she's silently asking him to hold her tightly. Before he can stop himself, he kisses her, feeling like he's about to lose his mind. Yooyoung, taken aback, says she thinks she should go to her room and apologizes. Jihoon wonders why she's saying sorry when he's the one who kissed her. He tells her to have a good night, and she thanks him for the drink. As the elevator door begins to close, Yooyoung stops it and turns to Jihoon. She asks if he'd like to spend the night in her room since it's raining outside. As they reach her room, he takes off his suit jacket, and they start kissing. Suddenly, she tells him to wait a minute. He asks what's wrong, and she says it's nothing, that she's fine, but she's not. Inwardly, Jihoon wonders if the woman in front of him is the type to hold onto a night's dream rather than a one-night stand with a man whose name she doesn't even know. He decides to ask her for her name, and she responds by asking if it's important. He pauses, realizing maybe he's misjudged the situation. He thought there was something more between them, but now he's not so sure. He wonders if he's misread her signals or if there's something else going on. He notices she's not used to this kind of thing. She asks if he'll stop if she says no. Inwardly, she sees this as her chance to escape, but his kisses and touches are so exciting that she doesn't want him to stop. He reassures her that he can't stop now. If she's never done this before, he just wants to please her even more before they start. The next day, he cuddles her as he sleeps. Yooyoung looks at him and thinks to herself that she must be crazy. She can't believe she invited this perfect man to her room, and it's her first time waking up next to somebody. She remembers the night before, and her body still feels hot from the memory. When she didn't tell him her name yesterday, it was like an unspoken agreement to make this just a one-time thing. She puts on her clothes and thanks him for staying with her during the lonely night. As they exchange introductions, Yooyoung can't help but think to herself that her one-day decision has totally backfired on her. Sitting there with him, she wonders what's wrong with her. How could she end up having a one-night stand in the same hotel where she's supposed to meet her blind date? And to make things worse, he turns out to be the same man from last night. If her mother finds out about this, she'll probably disown her. Yooyoung feels a sinking feeling in her stomach, as she realizes the mess she's gotten herself into. Yooyoung's mother never warned her about his hot lips, strong hands, and piercing eyes. She can't even bring herself to look at him. Suddenly, She asks if they could just pretend like last night never happened. He responds by saying if she's talking about last night, does she mean when he kissed a girl he just met, and even spent the night with her, only to wake up to an empty bed? He reassures her that it's fine, she ran away. From this situation, he can understand why she did that. Yooyoung thinks to herself that her mother made her relationship with Jihoon very clear. Jihoon gets to choose, and she has to be chosen. Jihoon tells her he can't pretend like last night never happened, but he can keep it a secret on one condition. Curious, she asks him what the condition is. Inwardly, she wonders why he would need anything from her when he already has plenty of money, and they've met before. She feels like it's a waste of time for him. What could he possibly want from her? She asks him if he'll tell her what it is, and he responds that he's not sure, he'll have to think about it. He adds that a woman has never run away from him before, leaving Yooyoung feeling a mix of surprise and confusion. She wonders what he's thinking and if there's more to this situation than meets the eye. Yooyoung apologizes, but Jihoon tells her there's no need to apologize. He says things have become very interesting now. He asks if they can finish what they started, and they continue eating. During their conversation, he brings up her job as a lawyer for Eunwoo Fashion. Yooyoung confirms this with a yes, but inwardly, she feels like it's a waste of time. She can't imagine someone as handsome and wealthy as him marrying a woman who had a one-night stand with a stranger. She just hopes her mother doesn't find out about it and make things even more complicated. Jihoon notices Yooyoung isn't feeling well, but he figures she probably exhausted herself last night. He asks if she wants to go home, and she asks if she can. He agrees, saying she looks like she needs rest. Jihoon tells her it was nice to meet her today, and she says goodbye. As she moves to leave, he holds the door open and offers to take her home. Yooyoung insists it's fine, saying she can easily grab a cab or call a chauffeur. However, Jihoon insists he can't let her do that when he's the one who made her feel this way. Inside the car, things feel awkward for Yooyoung. She thinks to herself how she ended up in Jihoon's car. Jihoon tries to break the ice by asking if she still runs, mentioning he heard she did track and field in high school. Yooyoung feels a bit uneasy, because she doesn't really know much about Jihoon. She replies to him, saying she doesn't run anymore. When he asks about her track record, she admits it wasn't anything special, just 400 meters in 57 seconds. She tries to keep the conversation light, but she can't shake off the feeling of discomfort being alone with him in the car. Yooyoung mentions her track record, saying she ran 400 meters in 57 seconds. She feels a pang of disappointment, because she was only 4 seconds behind the best track and field athlete in the country. That small gap felt like a huge distance, keeping her from winning any medals. When she tells Jihoon it's just a simple record, he disagrees, saying it's amazing. He adds that it's unfortunate she stopped running with such an impressive record. They continue talking, moving on to discuss hobbies and interests. Yooyoung feels a bit more at ease now, finding common ground with Jihoon despite the awkward start to their conversation. Jihoon expresses his hope of seeing Yooyoung running on the field next time, but she admits she hasn't run in a long time. She's been too busy over the past few years to even jog, and besides, she finds it boring. He asks if she finds it boring to watch people run, and she explains that she actually enjoys it. Jihoon concludes that if she enjoys it, then she'll probably enjoy running too. Yooyoung reflects inwardly on the familiar scent surrounding Jihoon, the same one from last night and the cafe. She wonders why this scent, which once intimidated her, now makes her feel warm and cozy. It's a strange feeling, but she can't deny its comforting effect on her. As they arrive downstairs, Yooyoung thanks Jihoon for bringing her home. She expresses her hope that he can forget about what happened last night. Inwardly, she wonders if things would be different if that event hadn't happened, but she knows this man would still be out of her league. She tells him to take care and drive safely. Inside, she admits she probably won't be able to see him again unless they happen to run into each other by chance. Jihoon suddenly grabs Yooyoung's hand and tells her he's just thought of a condition to keep last night a secret: they should get married. He says he wants to marry her. Yooyoung feels shocked and overwhelmed by his unexpected proposal. She didn't see this coming at all. She's at a loss for words as she tries to process what he's just said. Everything feels like it's happening too fast, and she's not sure how to respond. Yooyoung is completely taken aback by what Jihoon just said. She's sure she didn't mishear him, but she's puzzled about his intentions. She asks him why he would suggest such a thing because she doesn't understand. They don't seem like a good match to her. Jihoon responds by asking if she doesn't want to marry him. Yooyoung tries to explain that they just met for the first time today, but he suggests they can get to know each other better. She points out that they are also very different, but Jihoon counters by saying that they say opposites attract. Despite his reasoning, Yooyoung insists that she doesn't want to marry him. She feels overwhelmed by the suddenness of it all and the fact that she barely knows him. Inside, Yooyoung wonders if Jihoon would understand if she rejects him. He's so perfect that it makes her stomach hurt. Jihoon explains that he's an entrepreneur, and having intuitive judgment is crucial for running a successful company. He admits it's nothing to brag about, but he's been on 50 blind dates already. Surprisingly, he's never been curious about the people he's met on those dates. He usually leaves because he can't stand being with them for even 10 minutes. He simply can't stand anything that's boring. Yooyoung is surprised by his honesty and wonders if this is his way of explaining why he's proposing to her so suddenly. She's still unsure about his true intentions and feels a mix of confusion and apprehension. He tells Yooyoung that he finds her interesting. From the moment she invited him to her room at the elevator, to when she disappeared without a trace this morning, and even when she was waiting for him at the cafe with that innocent expression, he became curious about what kind of woman she was. Despite spending just one night together, he wants to spend more nights with her. He notices that she avoids making eye contact with him, as if lacking confidence, but her rejection is firm, conveyed through her sparkling eyes. Even though they haven't known each other for long, Jihoon feels like he understands Yooyoung. He leans in and kisses her. Yooyoung feels a rush of emotions inside. It's as if he's silently telling her that she should try running away if she can, but he'll chase after her. Their lips barely touch, but Yooyoung feels frozen, as if struck by lightning. She's unable to move, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. Jihoon breaks the silence by saying he'll head home now. He tells Yooyoung to take a break and think about whether her rejection is really her final answer or not. Yooyoung is left speechless, still processing the whirlwind of emotions from their interaction. As Jihoon drives away, Yooyoung can't believe what just happened. She's so caught up in her thoughts that she forgets she's standing right in front of her house. Panic sets in as she realizes someone might have seen them. Suddenly, her mother calls her, looking furious. Yooyoung hopes her mother didn't see everything, or at least just saw Jihoon leaving. Her mother demands to know who the man was and who he thinks he is to kiss her in such a manner in front of their home. She tells Yooyoung to come inside, not wanting anyone to see her like this. Yooyoung feels a sinking feeling in her stomach as she follows her mother inside, worried about the consequences of what just happened. Inside the housemaid comments to Yooyoung's mom that she noticed she went grocery shopping and could have gone instead. Yooyoung's mom shouts at the maid to leave and angrily drops the groceries on the ground. She tells the maid she should know how to read the room and to clean up the mess. Yooyoung can't believe her mother threw the ingredients for her father's dinner. She hasn't seen her this angry in a while. Inside the room, Yooyoung's mom confronts her about missing her blind date. She had even booked a hotel room for her to rest before meeting him. Yooyoung tries to explain, but her mom interrupts, furious at her recklessness. She shoves Yooyoung against the wall, scolding her for engaging in such indecent behavior with a stranger in front of their house where anyone could see. She questions if Yooyoung has lost her mind, emphasizing the importance of marrying into a prominent family to benefit their OWN. As her anger escalates, Yooyoung's mom raises her hand to slap her, leaving Yooyoung feeling scared and helpless. She braces herself for the blow, wondering how things spiraled out of control so quickly. Her mother manages to hold back from slapping her. She asks who the man was and what happened to her blind date. Yooyoung quickly says it went well, and that the man was Cha Jihoon, the CEO of MGH Hotel. Her mom looks skeptical and asks if she expects her to believe that. Yooyoung insists it's true, adding that even if her mom doesn't believe her, there's nothing she can do about it. Her mom sits down, still angry, and says she'll find out soon enough if Yooyoung is telling the truth. The next morning, Yooyoung comes downstairs and says good morning to her mom. Her mom frowns and asks if she's feeling sick. Yooyoung says no, but her mom asks why she's coughing then. Yooyoung insists she's fine, but her mom doesn't believe her. She tells the maid to make some balloon flower tea for Yooyoung to help with her cough. Her mom looks worried and says Yooyoung needs to take better care of herself. She scolds Yooyoung for not paying attention to her health. Then, her mom mentions that they will be having a guest over later today. She asks if Yooyoung will be home all day. Yooyoung says yes, she'll be home, but asks if she should go out instead. Her mom says no, she should stay home, dress nicely, and wait for the guest. She tells Yooyoung to try not to look so pale, and not to show that she's sick. She complains that Yooyoung never does anything right, and needs to make a good impression. Yooyoung feels a bit upset, but nods and goes to get ready. As Yooyoung gets dressed, she remembers her mother saying that her father hasn't come home yet. She wonders if the guest has arrived before him, and why her mom is making such a big deal about it. Just then, she sees Jihoon. Jihoon asks her how she's been, and she asks him what he's doing here. He tells her that he missed her, and that her mother contacted him. Yooyoung's mom joins them and tells Jihoon that he's an amazing person from a very respected family, so she just had to meet him. Yooyoung feels a bit confused about why her mom is so impressed by Jihoon, but she doesn't say anything. She just stands there, listening to her mom praise Jihoon and wondering what's going on. Yooyoung's mom laughs and admits she knows it was a bit rude to invite Jihoon like this, but she couldn't help herself. She holds Yooyoung close and says she wanted to take this chance to see Jihoon when he came to pick up her daughter. She thinks to herself that her husband's company is about to sign a big contract with MGH, and it's a long-term deal. If Yooyoung and Jihoon get married, his parents might help them out with the business. Out loud, she tells Yooyoung to hurry up and say something. She urges her to give Jihoon an answer he'll like. Yooyoung feels the pressure but tries to stay calm, thinking about what to say. Yooyoung says she heard a guest was coming, but she didn't know it would be Jihoon. She tells him to please make himself at home. Her mom then says that Jihoon offered to take her somewhere nice, probably an amazing restaurant. Jihoon smiles and says he was planning to take her to a restaurant, but he thought of an even better place on his way here. He asks if it's all right with her and if she will join him. Yooyoung thinks for a moment and then agrees. As they walk outside, Yooyoung says she's sorry about earlier. She explains that she didn't know her mother had contacted him, and had no idea she would suddenly invite him to their house. Jihoon smiles and says he was surprised too, but she doesn't need to apologize. He tells her that, thanks to her mother, he got to meet her sooner, so it's actually a good thing for him. Yooyoung hates how uncertain everything is. She likes clear answers and definite plans, but Jihoon is very unpredictable, even though their relationship seems obvious. Jihoon tells her that if she has something on her mind, she should say it out loud instead of keeping it inside. He warns that if she holds it in, it might blow up later. Yooyoung sighs and says, "What could I say right now? Like you saw earlier, I have no power. I can't refuse or argue. I just have to do whatever people tell me to do." Jihoon counters, saying she's never done what he's asked. He reminds her that he proposed twice, but she turned him down both times. He explains that in most romantic relationships, the one being pursued has the upper hand, while the one doing the pursuing has no power. So technically, she has the superiority in their relationship. Yooyoung argues back, saying they are not like other couples. She insists their relationship is different, unique, and shouldn't be compared to the typical ones. Jihoon, however, points out that they've done plenty of things ordinary couples do. They've been on dates, kissed, and even spent nights together. He tries to make her see that their actions are pretty standard for a couple. Yooyoung quickly interrupts, telling Jihoon not to bring up that night. Her face flushes slightly as she insists it wasn't a date. She explains that they just happened to bump into each other yesterday, and it was a coincidence, nothing more. Jihoon, slightly frustrated, responds, saying she always thinks she's right. He admits he forgot about the circumstances of their last meeting. As they get into the car, Yooyoung asks where they are going, her curiosity mixed with a bit of apprehension. Jihoon, keeping his eyes on the road, tells her there's something he wants to do, but he doesn't elaborate, which makes her even more tense. He notices her growing unease and tries to reassure her. He tells her not to worry just because he's getting closer to her. Jihoon then confesses that the more anxious she gets, the more it makes him want to stay by her side and not leave her alone. As they walk, Jihoon asks if she thinks he'd do something to her in public. She mentions the kiss he gave her in front of her house last time. Jihoon suggests maybe he should meet her expectations next time. She responds that she never expected that. Suddenly, they arrive at Hankook University. Jihoon mentions that they both went to the same university. Even though he started college earlier, they never had classes together. He's pretty sure they must have seen each other around campus a few times, even though they were in different majors. It's kind of surprising they didn't know each other back then. She explains it's because she didn't really hang out with anyone during school. Then she asks if he studied economics, and he jokes if the matchmaker spilled the beans on that. Yooyoung shakes her head and remembers students talking about him back then. She recalls her classmates mentioning a handsome older student in the economics department. They nicknamed him the economics major Oppa. She heard rumors that he's from a wealthy family and quite good-looking, which isn't something you see every day. Jihoon smiles and says he hears her. Inside, Yooyoung thinks Jihoon is really handsome. He's one of those guys everyone likes, and it's no wonder he's so confident. She feels a bit jealous, but also realizes they are quite different. Everyone's eyes are on him, and if she had seen him at school before, she definitely wouldn't have forgotten him. They arrive at their destination, and Yooyoung wonders what they are doing there. Jihoon explains that he has a friend who used to do track and field, and he called ahead to see if they could check out the gym. Yooyoung admits she's never been there before. Her usual hangout was just the library. When Yooyoung was younger, she used to do track and field, but as she got older, she focused more on studying. Jihoon wonders what she does now and realizes there's a lot he wants to learn about her. Yooyoung remarks that she hasn't seen people running like this in ages. Jihoon mentions he spoke with the gym staff, and they said she's welcome to come and run whenever she likes. He notices she's wearing heels and laughs, admitting he didn't think that far ahead. He suggests getting her a pair of sneakers, but she declines, saying she's not planning to run. Inwardly, he thinks she looks like she's ready to race any moment. Then, he decides to grab some coffee for both of them. After a short while, he returns with the coffee, and they start chatting about one of the runners they see on the track. They share their thoughts on his technique and speed, laughing and enjoying the light conversation. After a while, Yooyoung asks if he's getting bored and apologizes for talking so much. She looks a bit embarrassed, thinking she might have been rambling. Jihoon smiles warmly and tells her it's not boring at all. He reassures her, saying he finds their conversation very interesting, even if it's not the most romantic topic. He enjoys listening to her and learning more about her experiences and thoughts. Jihoon feels that every little detail she shares helps him understand her better. He tells her again that he's having a good time and isn't bored in the slightest. Meanwhile, at Jihoon's parents' house, his mom is pacing back and forth, clearly upset. She exclaims how dare Subwoo Fashion demand that her son come to their place. Her voice is filled with indignation, as she can't believe they had the nerve to give him orders like that. She feels it's incredibly disrespectful, and expresses her frustration loudly. She rants about how it's unacceptable for anyone to treat her son that way, emphasizing that Jihoon deserves respect and shouldn't be summoned like an errand boy. The day before at Jihoon's place, his mom is upset. Sunwoo Fashion ordered him to visit a girl's house, which she thinks is silly. Jihoon asks what's wrong, and she explains the matchmaker called last night. The girl's mom wants to meet him, but they haven't decided on marriage yet. She rants about the girl's family being less influential and rude. Jihoon thinks about Yooyoung, who said she doesn't want to marry him. His mom keeps talking, wondering why he's set up with someone like Yooyoung. Jihoon says she's pretty, surprising his mom. He decides to accept the invitation and asks about a gift, then says goodnight and leaves, leaving his mom astonished. Back to present, they are riding in the car, he's deep in thought. His mother was right, Yooyoung's mother has no manners. Although she's trying to get on his good side and acts very friendly, she looks at her daughter with cold eyes. She didn't even try to hide her contempt towards her daughter. He thinks he can understand why Yooyoung is so timid. They get to the front of her gate and he stops the car. She thanks him, saying she had a great time. He replies that the pleasure was all his. She tells him that now that they are done, she hope he won't come back again, saying that she really had no idea that he was a blind date. That's why she did something so foolish the night before. She tells him that she's sure that he doesn't want to marry a woman who had a one-night stand like her. He looks at her and replies that if one-night stands are a crime, then he's an accomplice, saying that after all, he was the one she spent the night with that day. He urges her not to say that they didn't have a good time. She replies that it would be a lie. She tells him that that's not why she's rejecting him. He asks her if she dislikes him. She thinks she doesn't dislike him. She tells him that she finds it difficult to be around him. He asks about other men are easy. She's deep in thought. Jihoon is different from other men. He have the power to lift her up like a wave and shove her back down to the floor. She nods at his question. He smirks and replies that he also thinks that she's the most difficult woman he has ever met. He says that it was his first time proposing to someone, but she rejected him right away. She said she had fun, but then she told him not to come and see her anymore. That's why he finds her so difficult. He tells her that it's because he wants her to like him. She thinks he thinks she's difficult. It doesn't seem like that. He didn't have any trouble when they reunited at the cafe, or when she declined his marriage proposal. Then again, even if everything comes to him easily, it's hard to be rejected multiple times. He tells her not to worry, that he likes her, that he likes everything about her, even when she plays hard to get, become nervous and open her lips halfway, as if she's expecting something. He reaches for her lips. She wonders if she should push him away, but the fact that he finds her difficult and his words of reassurance makes her head spin. They kiss for a while and disengages. He calls her name, smiling. He tells her that they should do something more exciting next time. He looks at her tenderly and tells her that he can't wait for their next day. She walks into her house, letting out a sigh of relief as she kicks off her shoes. Her mom, who looks like she's been waiting for her, greets her with a warm smile and asks how her evening went. Yooyoung is taken aback by her mother's unusually tender demeanor and wonders if she's been eagerly anticipating her return. Her mom's eyes sparkle with curiosity as she probes about the date, what he said, how he acted, and if Yooyoung thinks he likes her. Yooyoung's mind drifts back to the car ride with Jihoon, where he confessed he likes her. She hesitates for a moment, then admits to her mom that she thinks he does. Her mom's face lights up with joy, commenting that Jihoon didn't complain about coming over and smiled warmly at her, which suggests he's definitely interested. She playfully reminds Yooyoung of the kiss they shared last time right in front of their house, emphasizing how Jihoon's actions speak louder than words. Yooyoung nods, feeling a mix of excitement and uncertainty about where things might go from here. As they chat, the evening light filters through the windows, casting a cozy glow over their conversation, making Yooyoung realize just how much her mom cares about her happiness. She asks her why she came home early, saying that she should have just stayed out all night and make him hers, Yooyoung can't believe that a mother would say such a thing to her daughter. She wonders what her mother's reaction would be like if she tells her that she has already slept with him before the blind date, because she wanted to meet another man before she got into an arranged marriage. She wonders what her mother would say if she hears that. Her mother asks her what she's not answering. Yooyoung thinks that at this age, no one would stay with you just because they spent the night with you. Her mother continues, saying that she could just sleep with him without using birth control, saying that she just doesn't understand why that handsome son of MGH Group CEO would be interested in someone like her. Her mother grabs her hands and says that she has to make him hers, saying that it is heaven-sent opportunity, and she might not get another chance like that again, asking if she understands. For some reason, her mother has been speaking and looking at her in a very gentle manner today, she treating her the same way she treats Haeyoung. However, that's only because she needs her to get married to Jihoon. Yooyoung calls her mother, wanting to tell her something, but she's afraid to tell her. She doesn't want to spoil her mood, but she'll eventually find out, and if she doesn't tell her now, it'll get worse. Yooyoung tells her that she's not going to marry him. Her mother's smiling face changes immediately. She continues, saying that she doesn't think she can do it. Her mother is not happy. She asks if he doesn't like her, but Yooyoung replies that it's not it. That it's just that she can't go through with it, saying that he's out of her league. Her mother asks if she has lost her mind, asking if she's going to reject him. She reminds him about the contract her father needs to sign with MGH. Yooyoung replies that even if she doesn't marry Jihoon, her father company won't crash since it's strong. She says she'll just go on another blind date, but her mother cuts her short angrily asking what she doesn't like about him. Yooyoung replies that he's perfect and she doesn't understand why he'll like her, saying that she just wants to marry an ordinary man, and not someone like Jihoon. He is. She recalls the conversation they had in the car, where Jihoon tells her that if she thinks someone's difficult, it's because you want them to like you, saying that she finds it difficult to be around them, since she's worried about their opinion of her and whether they'll like you. She thinks that Jihoon is right, however, she doesn't want to walk on eggshells while wondering what she thinks about her shabby self and whether he likes her or not. She looks at her mother and says that even her thinks that they don't belong together. She wonders if there'll be anyone to love her sincerely anyway. Her mother tells her that now isn't the time to compare herself to her, saying that she has to marry him no matter what, that she doesn't have to understand what he thinks, saying that she must marry him, even if he despises her. She says their business is more important, asking her if she thinks she's that important, telling her that she can't believe she's being this selfish. The door opens and interrupts them. A lady walks in, asking what's going on. The lady walks in asking what's happening. It's Haeyoung. Her mother welcomes her and explains to her that Yooyoung is refusing to marry the man she went on a blind date with, saying it's a golden opportunity, and it's absurd that she's refusing. Haeyoung asks if Yooyoung went on a blind date. She turns to her mother and tells her not to mind her, reminding how she is. She tells her mother that she's tired and she wants to eat and go to bed. Her mother asks her if she had a lot of work to do. She suggests that it's because she is carrying those heavy bags. She collects them from her and calls the housekeeper to make something warm for her, while they walk away. Yooyoung looks at them sadly. She feels like she doesn't exist in this family. If she marries Jihoon, then she stops and pushes those thoughts away. She knows this. Her phone rings and cut her short. Her mother and sister turns to look at her. She picks it up. It's Cha Jihoon. He asks her if she has arrived home safely. She's surprised. He's the one who dropped her off. So why would he call to check up on her? She wonders if she marries him, whether her mother will forgive her, whether her mother will love her the way she loves her sister, if she leans towards his kindness, since her mother is so cold to her, and can use that kindness to get her mother to forgive her. She speaks up. Then that's enough for her. She speaks up, asking if he still wants to marry her. In his house, Jihoon couldn't believe his ears when she asked him that question. She tells him that she'll accept his proposal. He grins and says perfect. She thanks him, but he tells her that he's the one that asked for hand in marriage, therefore he should be the one to thank her. He tells her that they would proceed with the wedding, that his family would be in touch with her soon and they'll meet up to discuss it soon. In his office the next day, Jihoon sits down pondering about yesterday's call. He could feel her nervousness throughout the call from her trembling breath. She's been pushing him away, but now she suddenly wants to marry him. He concludes that it was probably an impulsive decision, that makes things interesting. She's more stubborn than expected and definitely not the type to give in to pressure, so she must have changed her mind suddenly because of her family. Whatever the reason may be, he has no intention of this opportunity. His secretary Mr. Lee is with him in the office, giving him a situation report concerning the company. After the discussion, smiling he tells his secretary that he has something to say. He was given the go-ahead to say it and he tells him that he'll soon be getting married. Mr. Lee is relieved, because he's always scared to see Jihoon grin that way. Then it struck him, he's surprised, asking what he means by his getting married. Jihoon tells him that he's going to marry the woman he went on a blind date with. Mr. Lee is surprised because he never knew of any blind date. He recalls the few times Jihoon went on blind dates and how nonchalant he has behaved when asked about it. He has never seen him contact any woman after a blind date. Mr. Lee excitedly asks how many times he has met her and he said twice. He's surprised that he wants to marry Tai early, instead of dating first. Mr. Lee asks if it's the Samwoo Construction CEO daughter he met the last time, and Jihoon replies no, saying that it's Sunwoo Fashion CEO daughter that he met the next week. Mr. Lee thinks about the name, remembering, he says he knows her, that she dated YP Industries Yang Jae-woo. Mr. Lee goes ahead to tell him about Yang Jae-woo, saying that he's the oldest son of YP Industries CEO, an alumnus. He's also famous for always visiting clubs, saying that he heard he always have crazy parties in his hotel rooms. Jihoon doesn't believe Yooyoung dated someone like that. He feels there's a mistake. Mr. Lee tells him that it's true, because Jae-woo himself said that his ex was the Sunwoo Fashion CEO's daughter. Jihoon refuses to believe. He remembers that night her body stiffened easily, due to nervousness. She was clumsy and she had no idea to react whenever he touched her. She wasn't a woman who knew how to be with a man. Mr. Lee continues, saying that Jae-woo says she was fun and didn't mind dating her, but he wasn't sure about her because she had a bad dating history, saying that he's sure they have already broken up. Jihoon tells him that it's not Yooyoung, that it's definitely someone else. He knows so well that Yooyoung is a kind of person who can't do anything bad even if she puts her mind to it, so she's definitely not the one with the bad dating history. She was terrified after having a one-night stand. Mr. Lee, still trying to convince him that she's the one, asks if she isn't the design manager at Sunwoo Fashion. At this point, Jihoon knew that he was mistaking her for someone else. He tells him that she's a lawyer. Mr. Lee is surprised, wondering whether Sunwoo Fashion CEO has another daughter, and Jihoon replies yes, saying that he has 2 daughters. This makes Mr. Lee discover his mistake. Jihoon taps at his desk as he thinks, if Jae-woo knows Yooyoung's sister well, that means he knows about their family. He tells Mr. Lee to call Jae-woo for him, saying that he wants to find out something. Mr. Lee asks him what type of woman he's about to get married to. Jihoon thinks about it and decides that he doesn't want to tell him, telling him to call Jae-woo. It's Sunwoo Fashion legal department. Yooyoung is in her office with another woman. She's deep in thought, wondering why she did that, proposing to him and in front of her mother too. The other woman interrupts her thoughts by asking her to help do a particular job. Usually, she have a hard time because she is the only lawyer in their legal department, but she's glad that she has a lot of work today. She wants to stop thinking about the man who she can't stop thinking about and her marriage with him. It's past noon and time for lunch. Ms. Hong tells her that they should go eat together. She was about to accept when a message entered her phone. It's from Jihoon. She apologizes to Ms. Hong, saying she won't be able to eat with her because she has something to take care of. Ms. Hong leaves, advising her not to forget to eat. She picks up her phone gingerly. She wonders what's wrong with her, even though she wants to push him away. Her heart flutters whenever he contacts her. She wonders why is that. I miss you, Yooyoung, the message read. She's surprised to see that. When she thinks about Jihoon, she has strange thoughts. Another message enters, asking her when she'll be free. But she wants to meet him after she sorts out her thoughts. What if he asks her why she suddenly agrees to marry him? She holds her phone to reply without knowing what to say. She can't tell him that she made that decision out of anger after seeing how close her mother and sister are. She replies that she'll be busy this week, because she has a lot of work. It shouldn't even matter what he thinks about her, but she can't help to be nervous though. She apologizes saying that she'll call him when she's free. She drops her photo, but recalls what he said about missing her. She slaps herself trying to get hold of herself. In Jihoon's office, he tries to contact Jae-woo and it went through at last. He asks him where he is and Jae-woo replies that he's out of town to get a yacht he has been eyeing for a while. Jihoon is surprised. He heard that YP industry isn't doing well financially, but their heir went out to buy a yacht. Jae-woo asks why he's calling and he tells him that he called because he wants to ask him something. Saying that he heard that he dated the oldest daughter of Sunwoo Fashion, saying he wants to know more about the family. Jae-woo agrees that he dated her and asks if Jihoon is dating her now, but he replies that he's seeing her younger sister, wondering why Jae-woo haven't heard of the marriage coming up soon. Jae-woo is surprised that Haeyoung have a younger sister, wondering if sisters are not close. He tells Jihoon that he wouldn't get involved with the Kim family, that he dated Haeyoung because she was beautiful, but she's arrogant and she have had bad dating history. He says that Haeyoung is different from Yooyoung, and also her mother is annoying because she pets Haeyoung a lot. He advises Jihoon to marry someone else from another family, because the Kim family is low class. Jihoon thinks that that was rude of him. Jae-woo tells him that the auction is about to begin and ends the call. The information Jae-woo gave him was useless. All he did was talk about Yooyoung's sister. There's a knock on the door and Mr. Lee walks in, asking him if he should send the driver to wait in the front for him. Jihoon tells him that he's going to drive himself, and he should tell the driver to go home. Mr. Lee asks him where he's going that's making him smile like that. He replies that he has something fun to take care of. At the end of the day's work, Yooyoung comes outside and is surprised to see Jihoon standing outside his car waiting patiently. He asks her what he's doing there. He tells her that he came to drive her home, that no matter how busy she is, she'll still have to go home at some point. He smiles and asks if they shall go. They enter the car and drive off. In the car, he asks if it's rude of him to show up unannounced. She replies no, and tries to add something but couldn't complete the sentence. He looks at her. Nothing Jae-woo said was right. She's completely different from her sister. The way she just blushes without knowing what to say reminds him of a white bunny. She would be cute if she becomes a bit more straightforward and bold. Then again, she is already cute enough. He smiles and tells her that he missed her. She replies that he had told her that earlier when he texted her. If she wasn't that shy, a lot of men would have tried to win her heart. He tells her that he heard she have a sister. She replies yes and he tells her that his friend knows her. She's curious. He asks if she knows YP Industries and Jae-woo. She said no, and he tells her that Jae-woo says he met her mother so he thought he was a bit serious. Yooyoung replies that she doesn't know her sister's past relationships, because they are not close to each other. Jihoon thinks that that's the reason Jae-woo didn't meet Yooyoung. According to Jae-woo, her mother spoils her sister to death. But why is Yooyoung so afraid of her family? Yooyoung speaks out, saying that she's a nuisance in her family. Apologizing, she says she would have let him know before they decided to get married. He tells her that it's okay, but still can't believe that her family would consider her a nuisance, when she majored in law at Hankook University and passed the bar exams. She tells him, stammering, that it's because she did something unforgivable. That's why her mother hates her, and why she's not in good terms with her family. He's surprised to hear that. He stops the car. Although he doesn't know the details, Yooyoung isn't that type of person. However, he doesn't think it's something he should ignore. She tells him that her sister doesn't talk to her, that she's ignored completely. She's trembling. She's soil, saying that she didn't mean to tell him all that, saying that what she means is that she's nothing compared to her sister. He turns to her and holds her hand, discovering that her hand is cold, although he's curious about this misdeeds she's talking about, but it won't be right for him to rub salt on the painful scars that even him can feel, though he doesn't know her well enough. He suggests that they stay like that for a while. She stops shaking and he asks if she's not hungry, because he is, asking her to join him for dinner. At the restaurant while eating, Yooyoung wonders why she told him all those things earlier. She knew that she would have to tell him about his family one day, but she hasn't told anyone for 10 years and she never thought she would bring it up out of nowhere like this. But because Jihoon was thoughtful and held her hand until she stopped shaking, she felt warm all of a sudden. She glances at him. He's a strange person. He seems stubborn at times, but he's very kind-hearted. She wonders what Jihoon likes, what his ideal type is, why he likes her. She's becoming curious about him. She wants to get to know him more. She asks him what he likes, saying that she has never asked him that before. He ponders on her question, not knowing what to say. She tells him not to say that he enjoys things like cooking, foreign languages and ballet. He tells her that the most common hobbies of his blind dates were boring things as though she mentioned. So he was interested that she did mid-distance track and field, saying that it felt really genuine. He guessed his words left an impression. She replies that it made her wonder about his hobbies. He wipes his mouth and begins to apologize, saying it was wrong for him to say that things like cooking and ballet are boring, that he shouldn't judge other people's hobbies. He says that his is more pretentious, so it might seem unattractive. She's very curious, wondering what it is. He says that he'll tell her if she promises not to laugh. She obliged him, but he still hesitates. She begins to wonder what it is. Horseback riding, or is it really cooking? Then he dropped the bombshell. He says that he likes surfing. She calls it the water sport. She says that it's not funny, that it's actually an amazing hobby. He asks her if it doesn't seem like he's trying to show off or something. She replies that she hasn't met anyone who surfs as a hobby, saying that she doesn't think that he's trying to show off at all. She asks if surfing is not scary. He replies that it's actually thrilling, that one don't know what's going to happen when one is the ocean. That's why he likes balancing his body on the waves. He thanks her that he could be able to see some track and field athletes, suggesting that they go for surfing next time. She asks if the nearest beach isn't far away, and he said no, that they can go for surfing on the East Sea. Except for school and business trips, she has not gone on a vacation just for fun before. The East Sea seems like a far-off place, but Jihoon talks about it as if he's going for a walk around the neighborhood. It's fascinating. She can't believe how different they are from each other. Ever since that day, Jihoon has been picking her up every night. It'll take at least 40 minutes to get to her workplace from his hotel. One day in the car, she asks him if he's not busy these days, and he is. Actually, there's no way he wouldn't be busy. MGH Hotel recently underwent renovations, and he had a lot to do for the bidding of the in-house duty-free shop. She wonders if she's an idiot. She asks him why he comes to pick her up every day. He asks her if she doesn't like it. She replies that she's just curious. He asks her if she really doesn't know why he comes to her office every day, or she wants him to say it out. She wonders what she wants to hear from him, maybe because he likes her. That's impossible. He has the upper hand right now. She's not that naive. Even if they still get married, it's still an arranged marriage. She feels she's the one who needs to look good in front of him. He looks at her and asks her if she's pretending not to know, or she's genuinely clueless. He tells her to try finding the answer. He tells her that he won't be able to come and see her this week, because he's going on a business trip. She wishes him a safe trip. A few days later, after work, Yooyoung is going home. She thinks she hasn't heard from Jihoon since that day. She wonders if he's really busy. Once you get used to something, it's hard to go back to the way things were. It's only been 3 days since they last met, but it feels strange already. She wonders what's wrong with her. She doesn't have anything to do today, and there's nothing to do at home. Her phone dings. She looks at it, remembering something. Yooyoung sits with her friend Haejung apologizing. Haejung is angry that she hasn't contacted her for over 3 weeks, which made her worried. Haejung is her one and only friend. They met a very long time ago. Yooyoung decides to foot the bill for the dinner to make her happy a bit. They met during their first year in college. In college, Yooyoung had a habit of staying away from people. In middle school, track and field was her entire life, and when she stopped in high school, she put all her efforts into her studies. No, those were all just excuses. Actually, she was afraid of opening her heart to someone and getting emotionally involved with them. One day after class, she sits down to organize her notes and someone comes from behind to praise her. It's Haejung. She was a bit blunt, but extremely cute. They introduced themselves, and she begged Yooyoung for her note. After that, she offers to pay her back for lending her note to her, and just like that, they slowly became friends. She's the only person she gave a piece of her heart to. Back to present, the food is served and Haejung admires the food, saying that she only had little to eat for lunch. Yooyoung asks if she had a lot of work to do and she yes. That it was busy at her firm. Yooyoung says that she has gotten more cases lately. She cuts her off, saying that they shouldn't talk about work now. She asks her about her blind date. Yooyoung tells her that she's getting married. She's surprised to hear that, asking why she wasn't told earlier. Yooyoung tells her that she didn't have the chance to, that everything just happened quickly. Haejung asks who the guy is and Yooyoung tells her that it's her blind date MGH group Cha Jihoon. Immediately Haejung brings out her phone to search for him online. She sees him and shows her a picture, asking if he's the one. And Yooyoung replies yes. She comments that he's super hot, but she's still not happy that she got to hear about it after Yooyoung had decided already. Yooyoung apologizes, saying that she's the first person she's telling apart from her family, apologizing for not telling her earlier. She continues, saying that it's not a normal marriage, but an arranged one, saying that it's weird and hard to understand. Haejung asks her what's hard to understand, reminding her that they are friends, asking her if she has forgotten the things they went through, saying that they saw each other at their most pathetic states during the bar exams. So why wouldn't she understand her? Yooyoung agrees with her, wanting to share the story. Haejung interrupts her, calling the waitress to bring more wine. She tells Yooyoung to tell her even from start to finish. She threatens her, saying that if she hid one single detail, she's not going to tell her anything until she gets married and have a kid. She refutes it, saying that she'll tell her about it only when the kids get to middle school, saying that she should spill everything unless she wants that to happen. The next day, Yooyoung is in her office. She still can't believe that she's still hung over after 2 days. Jihoon said that he'll be on his business trip until Friday. She wonders if he's back yet. Her phone vibrates. It's a message from Jihoon asking how she's doing. She's shocked and stands up from her seat. Another message enters saying that he would come and pick her up if that's okay with her. She replies that she has a lot of work to do, so she'll be done by 8. She wonders if she should tell him not to come because it's too late. But since they didn't make any plans to meet up this weekend, if he doesn't come today, she won't be able to see him. She receives another message asking her if she'll be free tomorrow, and she said yes. He tells her that he'll be there by 8. She beams as she reads the message. Just 5 hours left to go. She can't wait. She waits outside around 8 o'clock looking at the cars. All black cars look like Jihoon's car. One pulls in front of her and she enters. They exchange greetings and he tells her long time no see. He begins to talk, but she looks at the back seat and seeing suitcase, asks him if he's coming from somewhere. He replies no. She asks him what all of those were. He reaches for her face. Her mind runs widely. Is that scent, the familiar scent of Cha Jihoon? He tells her that they are heading out now. She asks to where and he tells her that he's kidnapping her right now. She's alarmed, wondering what he meant by that. As he began to sped off, she asks if they are going to the restaurant and he said to the East Sea. She's surprised to hear that, asking if he's serious that they are leaving right now. He asks if she's surprised. She tells him that they'll not come back home that same night. He tells her that they'll be back tomorrow, reminding her that she said she'll be free this weekend. She's still hesitant about the suddenness. She remembers when he had said they'll go surfing next time. He actually meant it. She didn't know that he'll take her there. She tells him that she has to go home, that she lives with her parents, so they'll worry if she doesn't go back home soon. He replies that they'll be fine without her. He tells her that he was only going to stop if she said she didn't want to go, or if she was tired. But all she mentioned her parents. He asks if she's afraid of getting into trouble. She tells him no, but she's scared of her mother's look of contempt. What would she think if she went out with a man on Friday night and didn't come back home? He looks at her and knows that she's thinking about her parents again. He tells her that if he didn't do things his way he wouldn't be able to spend time with her before they get married. He says she should tell him if she doesn't want to go and he'll take her home. But if she doesn't dislike the idea of the trip, she should go with him, guaranteeing her that it'll be fun. He presses a button and car window opens and she feels the wind. She's deep in thoughts. They have already come this far. She doesn't dislike the idea, rather she feels happy. He really does as he pleases. However, like this wind, she doesn't dislike the time she spends with him and this unfamiliar deviation. She tests her mother, explaining that she won't come back tonight because she's going out with Cha Jihoon. Her mother read the message but didn't reply. She remembers what her mother said about her sleeping with him without birth control. She wonders if she should be glad that her mother didn't send that type of message again. They arrive. They step out and she's in awe. So this is Yooyoung and the East Coast. He asks if she's not hungry, she replies that she is, and they begin to walk towards a restaurant. He tells her that it's the best restaurant around that area. It's closed and she wonders how they'll get in. He tells her to hold on, he reaches the door and knock. A voice from inside tells him they're closed, he continues banging the door. A young man opens the door angry and threatening to call the police. He stops, when he recognizes Jihoon. He's surprised to see him, asking him what he's doing here. Jihoon replies that he came to eat the best burger in Yooyoung, asking if one could be made for him. The friend replies yes, and he's also surprised that he came with someone because he always come alone. Jihoon introduces them, and they shake hands. His name is Kim Soo-hyuk. While waiting for the burger, Jihoon explains to Yooyoung how he met Soo-hyuk, that when he was in college, he was an exchange student for a while in LA, and that's where they met. Soo-hyuk praises his friend, talking about how fascinating it was for a commoner like him to meet a wealthy fellow like Jihoon. And Jihoon also said where else could he have met a weirdo like Soo-hyuk, and how random it was for his friend to leave LA and come and set up a burger joint here. Soo-hyuk replies that at least they get to see each other daily. Yooyoung looks at Jihoon, they seem really close, she has never seen him so happy like that, for some reason she feels closer to him now. The burger is ready and Soo-hyuk serves them, telling them to eat up. Yooyoung admires them. Soo-hyuk stares at her, his eyes are begging her to eat up. Jihoon tells him to stop looking at her, asking how she'll eat with him looking that way. Soo-hyuk apologizes and thanks her for coming today. She apologizes for coming over at night and thanks him for the burger. Soo-hyuk replies that it's nothing, that Jihoon has money so he's happy to serve her, tells her that there's no need for apologies between them. Jihoon asks what's between him and Yooyoung. Soo-hyuk replies that they are going to be close friends from now, asking if Jihoon has a problem with that, adding that he shouldn't tell him that he's jealous. Jihoon looks at him, he asks him why he's swearing at him with his eyes. He tells them that he has something to do upstairs, saying that he lives in the second floor, saying if they need anything, he should just holler. Jihoon tells him that he'll take care of things downstairs. He went up. Jihoon is relieved, now Soo-hyuk won't bother them again. Yooyoung comments that he's funny, and he replies that he is, that he has known him for a long time, saying that he's one of his closest friends. He tells her that he'll like to meet her friend too. Yooyoung thinks about Hae-jung, judging from how she reacted a few days ago, she won't be easy to please. She tells him that she'll introduce her to him when they get back to Seoul. He's happy, and he suggests that they eat now, then he stops her and goes to off the lights. She tells him that they won't be able to see with the lights off. He tells her not to worry, that she'll soon see why he came here at night. They can see the sea from there, the blue night and the stars. She looks out and sees some fishing boat, saying that they are beautiful. He tells her that go out to catch squid exactly this time, suggesting that if they have time tomorrow, they should have some fresh squid, saying that this is the only place one can eat it. He tells her to try the burger first, that she'll like it. She looks at it, it's huge, she doesn't want to look hideous while eating in front of Jihoon. She can't sniff, he looks at her like that, she eats it at last, it's delicious. Jihoon asks if it's good, saying that though his friend can talk a lot, but he's a very good chef. She watches him eat, she can't believe she's eating a hamburger in her suit right after work. He seems different from usual, so she's not used to seeing him like this. So this is what Jihoon looks like on his day off. He asks her if she'll want to try surfing with him if the waves are suitable. She's surprised and scared. She says she knows how to swim, but he cuts her short, saying that even people who don't know how to swim learn how to surf too, so she'd be fine. Surfing. She has never thought of trying it before. He tells her that it's pretty easy and he'll teach her. He notices something on her lips and informs her. She takes her tongue there to remove it. He starts laughing. She wonders why he's laughing, wondering if it's in a weird spot. He leans over, asking her if she's trying to seduce her right now. She says no, that she really wasn't trying to seduce him. He takes a tissue towards her lips, saying that he must be drawn to her when she's acting normal, saying that he knows that she's not trying to seduce him on purpose, asking why he finds that even more charming. that it's driving him crazy. He's now very close to her. He gets close to her, she's trembling, he pauses, he asks if she's scared of him and she says no, then he asks what the matter is, she can't talk. She's not scared of Jihoon, she's actually. He tells that judging from her cute expression, he must be asking her difficult questions. She stammers while trying to talk. All he did was wipe her lips with a napkin, but she imagines something strange. She can't tell him that she's the problem. He tells her to enjoy her burger, that they have a long night ahead of them. She thinks it seems like he's implying something, but she must be imagining things. They finish their burger and are about to leave. Soo-hyuk bids them goodbye, telling her to come back anytime. They enter the car. She can't believe that it's already the middle of the night. Time flies super fast. She recalls when he asked her if they can go surfing tomorrow. It dawned on her, that means they'll spend the night here. She wonders why she's acting like she has never done this. At least they have spent a night together before. Jihoon wakes her up from her bed of thoughts, asking her what's on her mind, that she didn't even remember to put her seatbelt on. She tells him that she's just thinking about surfing and it's making her nervous. He tells her that it's not that hard though. She says that it's not such a hobby in Korea, and she's not even a good swimmer in the ocean. He tells her that she doesn't have to do it if she thinks it would be too difficult, although he doesn't think it'll be a problem for her since she's athletic. He tells her that they have to decide where they'll stay tonight, asking if it's okay for her if they go to the hotel he usually stays. She's surprised. He asks if there's a problem, but she said no, that it's fine by her. They get to the hotel and he's booking a reservation at the reception. She's standing alone wondering what she should do. She doesn't even remember the kind of undergarments she wore today. He meets her and says they should go to the room. On their way to the elevation, he gives her a bag, telling her he bought some clothes, toiletries and other things she might need. She's surprised. He tells her that she should find anything she needs in there. He remembers when the clothes were brought to him by a lady. He smiles and tells Yooyoung that he has asked a personal shopper. He knows to him prepare comfortable clothes and things women might need. She looks indifferent. He asks if she doesn't like them. She says no, that it's just that he seems used to this. He asks her if it bothers her and she says no, that she's just bothered on what to do. He chucks, saying that he's mistaken because he thought she was offended. She replies that she's not, asking why she should be when he's being so thoughtful. She's thinking that means he's considerate towards other women too. She knows she shouldn't be upset, but she keeps. She tells him that she actually lied when he asks if she was offended. She tells him that like he said, she is offended. It upsets her that he might have done this for other women too. He looks at her and thinks jealousy. It's when one shares thoughts about something one could gloss over or ignore. But people don't even know that's what jealousy is. They started going up. He tells her that he has never done that for any other woman, so she doesn't have to worry. She thinks he's probably saying that out of consideration. She tells him that he probably have more dating experience, so it's natural that he's used to this. She apologizes for concluding so fast. He tells her that there's no need for that he's happy that she's jealous. She replies that she's not trying to interfere with his personal life, that he should be free to do whatever he wants even after they get married. He's surprised to hear her say that. She continues saying that's how it eventually is. That in arranged marriages men usually have affairs. That her father is the same way and her mother said it was normal since he needed a way to relieve his stress. They get to the 10th floor. Jihoon is deep in thoughts. Many people in arranged marriages end up having affairs. There are many couples who don't even bother to hide their lovers. However, how could he dare meet other women when he have her? He tells her that he wouldn't meet other women when he have her. He looks insulted and she immediately apologizes for assuming he'll do that since many arranged marriages do the same. He comes forward and holds her hands, asking her if she's going to meet other men. She says no, that she has never been in a relationship before and he's the only man. He holds her waist, drawing her closer. He says that they should keep it that way, that he won't be able to stand seeing her with other men. He said he won't be meeting other women either, so she should make him exclusively hers. All arranged marriages are like that. Her mother would say that in a trivial manner, whenever she found out that her father is having an affair. He tells her that it doesn't matter if this is an arranged marriage, since they have decided to get married, he'll only have eyes for her. he tells her that she's already more than enough, wondering why she'll meet other women. He tells her that that's a cruel thing to say. He leaves her and walk away. She looks at him wondering if he's angry. He gets to a door and opens it, telling her that she'll be staying there, urging her to go in. As she enters she wonders why he's not coming inside, whether it's because of what she said. Then he shows her 2 cards, saying he reserved 2 rooms. She's relieved to hear that. She looks at him, so they are not staying in the same room. She thinks she's just a fool for imagining all sort of weird scenarios in her head. He looks at her and said that it seems like she had incident thoughts. Since he said they were going to a hotel, she quickly said no. He looks at her and begins to move closer. He tells her that he didn't have any weird thoughts either. He really wasn't planning to sleep with her, that he came here with pure intentions. That's why he reserved 2 rooms. He reaches slowly for her face. He tells her that he had thought they'd kiss though, but he really didn't come here to sleep with her. They walk slowly into the room. He tells her that she keeps provoking him, saying that she's jealous and he can meet other women and right now. She's truly a fascinating woman. He says that she was very assertive when she had that one-night stand with him, a man she met for the first time, but now that he's about to get married to her, she's very nervous around him. He tells her that he really was going to be a gentleman tonight, but what should he do? He continues, saying that even now, when he looks at her, his heart feels like it's going to burst. He pecks her on her cheek. He tells her that when she opens her heart and is truly ready to accept him, that's when he'll make love to her. He tells her that she's hard to figure out sometimes, but what he do know is that she's delicate. She's surprised to hear that. She has lived her whole life thinking she's a dull person, the one with the sullen look at her face. The expressionless one, that's what people say about her, but Jihoon describes her as if she's a completely different person. He tells her that he doesn't want their relationship to just be summed up as an arranged marriage, saying that he doesn't want their night to be stained with mere lust. He says that they have already slept together, and he's usually not to the type to sit and wait. It's driving him crazy. Seeing him speak this way is something she's not used to, since he usually acts like a complete gentleman. He tells her that he believes there'll be a day when she truly desire him, instead of just thinking of him as a deviation. He goes on saying that there'll be a day when he have truly influenced her, and she strongly desire him. That's why he's going to behave like a gentleman and leave her alone tonight. He tells her that he can tell that she's still scared and not that into him, since she gave her permission to meet other women. That's not what she meant when she said that though. Still she thanks him for today, saying that she was surprised by the spontaneous trip, but she had fun, saying that she would never have experienced anything like this if it weren't for him. He smiles and tells her that they'll do more things tomorrow. He bids her good night and begins to walk towards the door. She doesn't think she can calm down anytime soon. He stops and asks if he can at least give her a good-night kiss. He kissed her and leaves the room, telling her to think of him. The next day, they go to the ocean. The weather and waves are perfectly fine. He tells her that they are too high for swimming but nice for surfing. She can't believe that she's about to surf. He takes off his shirt and asks if they can go in. She hesitates. He asks her if she still can't believe that she's here. She replies yes, that she can't believe that she's about to surf. He tells her that once she gets into the ocean, she'll be able to experience that feeling even if she doesn't want to, saying that when the waves comes, he'll push her from behind, so she just have to start paddling. She tells him that she still can't imagine that himself doing this. He looks at her and asks her if she wants to watch him first. He dives into surf. The way he's reflected in the light catches her eyes. His bright expression tells her that he's really enjoying himself. He's so cool. He comes back and asks her what she thinks. She tells him that she doesn't think that she can surf like him. He tells her just to feel the waves for now, that he won't force her to go any further than that. He holds her hand. She wonders if she'll be able to do it, but still, she won't know until she gives it a try. She tells him that she'll try it. He smiles and tells her that he'll push her, so there's nothing to be afraid of, that he'll be right next to her the whole time. They walk to the ocean. He pushes her gently along. The waves begin to rise and he tells her that it's her time to shine, telling her to stand up. She stands up on her own. The waves came heavily and she slips from the board to the water. He rushes to her, asking if she's all right. She says she is. He asks if she's hurt and she said no. She hugs him surprisingly, telling him that it was so much fun. She recovers and withdraws herself, apologizing that she's just too thankful. He tells her that he wants to thank her for enjoying this so much, telling her that the waves are strong today, so it would have been difficult for a beginner to stand so quickly. So she did a great job. She's surprised to hear that. He tells her that it was like she was a different person. She kisses him passionately. It was a hot, thrilling and salty kiss. When she's with him, she feels like a different person. Back in the hotel, she tells him that she had a great time. He says he did too, telling her that he knew she'll be good at surfing. She replies that it would have been impossible if he hadn't taught her like a professional instructor. He tells her that he's a professional instructor, that when he was in America, he got his surfing license and taught surfing as a part-time job. She's surprised to hear that he had a part-time job. He asks why she's surprised. She says she's surprised because he has enough money yet he still decided to work. He tells her that it was fun making his own money, and he liked it even more when he didn't receive any special treatment from people he doesn't know. He asks her if she hasn't been frustrated by the fact that she always have to be associated to her family. She thinks, yes sometimes, thanks to just one article. She was labeled as the second daughter of Sunwoo Fashion's CEO throughout her college days. It was even bad for her, the child of the chairman of a mid-sized business, so it would have been worse for Jihoon. She tells him that when she talks with him, she feels like a babe in the woods. He tells him that he feels the same way after meeting her. She replies that it's impossible, because she hasn't experienced as many things as he have. He tells her that when she hugged her after falling off the surfboard, she didn't know she had that feeling inside, telling her that she should go and rest, that she must be tired. She thanks him again, and closes the door after saying goodnight. Yooyoung stands behind the door. She's not happy. She can't believe that he didn't kiss her this night. They only did that once, but she must have thought that it's their way of saying goodbye. She takes a shower. She's still wondering why he didn't kiss her, whether it's because they already did it earlier, or was it because he won't be able to stop? Is it really because he wants a genuine relationship and marriage? She picks up her phone. She wants to hear Jihoon's voice. It's not like she has anything to say. What if he asks why she called? He picks up and asks if something is wrong. She says no, that she just wants to thank him again. He laughs and says that she had done that earlier. He asks her if she can come out to the terrace, that the night air is really refreshing. She steps out and feels the breeze, saying that it's wonderful. She looks down and sees some college students who came for a trip. She turns to her side and sees Jihoon standing outside too. He tells her that he thought she called because she missed him, asking if he was mistaking. She replies that it's only 30 minutes since they said goodbye, that it's impossible to miss someone in just half an hour. She thinks Jihoon knows everything. Then why didn't he kiss her? Did he think about her too? He replies that she's right, that it's only been 30. He misses her already, asking what he should do. He says that he wants to go her room instantly, but if he does, the night might not end like that. She wonders if he can really read her heart. He continues, saying that it is torture. He looks at her and saying that she just took her shower, because this is the first time he's seeing her bare face. She tells him not to look at him and he replies that she's beautiful, that his heart is beating so fast since this is the new side of her. He tells her that Yooyoung is a special place to him. When life gets too overwhelming in Seoul, he comes here to recharge. He tells her that she was jealous yesterday, but he has never brought any woman here and he doesn't plan to. But he really wanted to come here with her. She asks why and he says GST, that it seems like she needed to recharge too, that he wanted to make her laugh, hoping to relieve her burden a bit. Everyone travels when they are in college. She had no courage to go on a trip or be in a relationship. Since she couldn't be happy or have fun, she kept her heart shut, but Jihoon kept knocking on it. She tells him that the trip was perfect, saying that she doesn't remember ever being happy like this before in her life, that it's all thanks to him. Her closed heart is beginning to crack open. He replies that he has never been this happy either. He bids her good night and ends the call. He falls to the bed. He doesn't regret his decision to not spend the night with Yooyoung. He wanted to open her heart, not conquer her. His intentions are a bit purer than that. Since the family that was supposed to protect Yooyoung drove her out, he wanted to hold onto her heart, which was floating around weakly, like a balloon filled with helium that had no place to lean on. That's why he can suppress his desires. He asks himself if he's trying to be a saint or something. Ever since he met her at the bar, he have never. He stops himself from thinking, standing up to go and take a shower again. The doorbell rings and he reaches for it. He's surprised to see Yooyoung. She tells him that there's something she didn't tell him earlier, that she actually called him because she missed him. That's why she came to see him. He asks her if she forgot that he said he wouldn't be able to hold back if he sees her again tonight. She said she didn't forget, but she asks him if there's any reason he has to hold back. He drags her inside and closed the door. They started kissing. What was she thinking? She just missed Jihoon, wanted to hold him and touch him. She's not wearing anything under her bathrobe, so she can feel the heat without any barriers. He tells her that he thinks both of them were thinking the same thing. She wonders what he means. He told her that he has had naughty thoughts he shouldn't have had all day long, saying that he was craving to touch her. The ends of her legs are loosening from the intense pleasure. She tells him to hold on, that she doesn't think she'll be able to endure it much longer, begging that they should go to the bed. He gently takes her to the bed and they begin to get intimate. He tells her that he doesn't know if she's doing it all on purpose, but sometimes she drives him crazy. He touches her gently and tells her not to endure it by herself, that if it hurts she should bite him instead. It was intense and dark night, however, because of this man in her embrace, she wasn't afraid of anything. The next morning, they are going out for a walk. He tells her that she ran away again. She apologizes, saying that her face was swollen when she woke up this morning. He wasn't scolding her. But she looks cute though. They step out to the street filled with a lot of people. She asks if it's a popular date spot. He replies that they are on one too. He suggests that they take a photo. He brings out his phone and takes a shot. She sees the picture. She thinks that she looks a bit weird, but Jihoon came out nicely. He's so handsome, she never imagined she'll deviate like this. It feels like a dream. She's so happy that she wished the time would stop. However, what would her mother say when she returns to Seoul? Even though they are going to be married, she still spent 3 days and 2 nights with him. Jihoon notices her change in countenance. He asks if she's tired, whether they should head back. She replies that she's fine, that she just realized that she has to go back to work tomorrow. It's night and Jihoon drives her to her house. He asks her again if she's okay. She tried not to make it obvious, but he noticed it. She replies that she's fine. She thanks him for taking her on the trip. He pecks her and tells her good night. She replies, telling him to get home safely. She gets to her door. Everywhere is quiet. She wonders if everyone is asleep. She's happy. She will quietly head upstairs so that she won't bump into her mother. As she walks quietly, she hears a voice. It's her mother's. She's talking to her sister Haeyoung, saying that she gets so angry when Yooyoung is happy. She knows she shouldn't feel that way. But how could Yooyoung smile after what she did? She continues, saying that when she thinks of Yooyoung being happy, she gets so angry. Haeyoung asks her if Yooyoung isn't coming back home today. Her mother replies that she doesn't know, that she hasn't seen her since she told her that she'll be spending the night with Jihoon on Friday. Haeyoung replies that it looks as if they are having a good time together, asking what a perfect man like him sees in Yooyoung. Her mother replies that that's what baffles him, saying that she was supposed to go for her blind date if only that foolish matchmaker didn't talk about her past. She tells her that her father is happy since it'll be good for the company if MGH's CEO becomes Thea-in-law. Haeyoung agrees that Yooyoung would have to marry Jihoon. Her mother replies that that's the right thing to do for their father and family, but she can't sleep at night when she thinks about Yooyoung being happy. Yooyoung's vision is getting blurry. Her mother continues, saying that she'll feel better if she's ignored and mistreated, but if she becomes happy and is treated well and loved by her husband. She gave birth to her, but she can't stand her. She says that when she thinks about Hyuk, she can't forgive her. Yooyoung flinches. She didn't want to hear their conversation, but she couldn't block her ears with her hands, or go up to her room. Haeyoung consoles her mother, saying that she feels the same way too, that they are not the villains there. They didn't do anything wrong. That is Yooyoung that is the evil one there. Yooyoung can't move at all. She have to leave. She needs to get out of this house. She opens the door, and runs out under the rain. Meanwhile Jihoon is driving home. It's raining. He's glad she got home before the rain started. He wonders if she's all right. He tries to call her. It rings, but she's not picking up. He's worried, because she always have her phone with her because of work. he wonders if she could be taking a shower, but he doesn't have good feelings about this. He tries again and she picks. He hears rain. He asks if she's all right, wondering if she opened the window or something. She apologizes, saying that she was just in the middle of doing something. His suspicion is confirmed. She's not at home. He asks her where she is. She replies that she's at home. He tells her not to lie to him, that he sound different from usual. She asked why he called and he tells her that he had a reason, but after hearing her distressed voice he forgot about it. He begs her to tell him where she is, if not, he won't stop looking for her. She's sitting out in a park, under the rain. Jihoon comes to her with an umbrella and a coat, asking her what she's doing out there, asking her if she has lost her mind, saying that she might get sick, that it's late and she might run into a dangerous person, saying that he was so worried about her. He gives her the coat to wear and covers the umbrella over her head. She calls him and reminds him that she had once told him that he's a sinner. Jihoon had hesitated to talk to her that day, because of her sorrowful eyes. They were full of despair. He replies that he remembers. She asks him if he doesn't want to know why, and he said he'd love to know, but they should go somewhere and talk. She tells him that she killed someone. She killed her younger brother with her own hand. Although no one said it out loud, Yooyoung knew everyone blamed her for what happened. The first memory of her life is her grandmother's face, as she scolded her. Her mother was considered a sinner for not bearing a son, and she was considered one for making her that way. Then everything changed in the year she turned 5. Just when her mother gave up in having a son, she miraculously gave birth to her brother Hyuk. Amazingly enough, Hyuk liked her more than her mother and grandmother, who spoiled him, and her pretty and smart elder sister. He was a nice boy. It's almost time for him to start school. One day they are walking from the house with a nanny. She tells him this fact and he replies that the good old days are gone. He asks why she's laughing, if she won't miss him when he goes to school. She replies that she'll go to school too. Hyuk tells her that he wished they could go to the same school, that it's boring without her. She tells him that he have his nanny. He agrees, but says it's more fun to play with her, saying that besides their mother and nanny won't let him go to the swings. She tells him that it's because they want him to get hurt. He replies that all the kids in kindergarten have already gone up to the top of the slide, including a girl from his class. They get to a playground. She looks at the top of the slide and tells him that it's too dangerous, saying that he'll get hurt. He replies that they can keep it a secret from their mother. Hyuk turns to the nanny and asks if he can climb up there just once, that he was already old enough to go to school. The nanny said he can go. She leaves Yooyoung to take care of him, as he goes take a call. As the nanny leaves, Hyuk begins to run away fast towards the slide. She runs after him, urging him to wait till his nanny comes, all to no avail. She's panicking, telling him to allow him hold on to him because it's too dangerous. But Hyuk quickly climbs to the top of the slide. She begs him to come down. He refuses, begging for more time. Unfortunately, he misses his foot and slips off from the high slide. She tries to catch him but couldn't. Hyuk fell headlong to the ground. The doctor said it was a stroke of bad luck. There was a fist-sized stone where he fell, and he hit his head on it. Her mother came and was crying, begging Hyuk to wake up. She turns to little Yooyoung and asks her what happened. Yooyoung trembles and tell her what happened. Her mother blamed her, asking why she'll let him go up the slide, saying that she had told her that he shouldn't be allowed to go to the playground, wondering why she'll allow him to do something so irresponsible. Her mother tells Yooyoung that she killed, that it would have been better if she had died instead of Hyuk. She pushed her away, and goes back to Hyuk's bed crying for him to wake up, lamenting that she has waited for 5 years for him. Yooyoung continues her story. Hyuk came and left as an angel. He wasn't the only one that died that night. She and her mother did too. She tells him that she's the one that's supposed to have died. It should have been her, the useless daughter, and Hyuk. She sobs. He consoles her, telling her that it was an accident. She replies that it wouldn't have happened if she was very careful. He tells her that she was also very young, that she was just a child. She replies that Hyuk thought of her as an adult, regretting why she didn't say no to the playground or catched him when he fell. She tells him that she had a good time in Yooyoung, that she wondered if it was really okay for her to be happy. She doesn't think someone like her deserves such joy, wondering how she can be happy when she left Hyuk fall to the ground. She thinks she deserves to meet the worst man in the world and be miserable, but this man in front of her is a great man. She tells Jihoon that she hates him, that if it hadn't been for him, she wouldn't have had such wonderful experiences. She says that she doesn't want to be happy. Jihoon drops the umbrella and hugs her under the rain. She's alarmed. She tells him that he's going to get wet too. He replies that it's fine, that they should get soaked together. On days when it rained and she had no umbrella, she had no choice but to get wet. When she was sick, she had to suffer alone. Her mind runs back to Hyuk telling her that she's the prettiest when she smiles. She holds Jihoon tighter in the embrace. He tells her that it's okay for her to be happy too. It's the first time someone gave her an umbrella. He was the first one to suffer with her in the rain. He was the first person she fell in love with. They walk back to the car. He tells her that he has turned the heat on, telling her that he'll take her to his hotel. He changes his mind, saying that he'll take her to his place. He should have brought her to the car sooner, but he couldn't think as soon as he saw her. When he saw Yooyoung in the rain, it seemed like she would just melt and disappear. He's so worried that she might have a cold. She really makes him lose his mind. In the house, Jihoon picks up his phone and calls his younger sister Chaerin. She answers it a little bit rudely. She tells her that she's busy studying and he replies if she hasn't gone on a date, because she sounds so busy for a student. She replies saying that he doesn't know how difficult law school is. He asks her about the clothes she bought the last time, and she directs him to where she kept them. She asks why he needs them, wondering if he has a girl over. He checks the clothes out and sees that it would fit Yooyoung well. Chaerin is not happy that he brought a girl to his place, that he doesn't allow her to go there even as she's his sister. She asks if it's the girl their mother told her he wants to marry. He tells her to be quiet, that he's going to use the clothes. She's not happy about that, but he tells her that it's urgent and he'll pay double the price. She asked for triple the price and he asked her to send her number. He takes the shopping bag to the sitting room where Yooyoung is sitting. He asks if she's not feeling cold, but she said she's fine. She tells him not to be so formal with her, that he's 5 years older than her anyway. She urges him to speak informally with her, saying that it's more comfortable for her. He laughs and asks if that's what she's thinking about now in this her situation. She apologizes. He holds her cheek and tells her that she's in a mess right now, and what she's concerned about is the way he addresses her. He tells her that she's really an interesting and fun person, and he doesn't think he's in his right mind for liking someone like her. He carries her up. She protests that she can walk. He replies that he knows, but he just wants to carry her, that he'll speak informally with her and call her name without hesitation like she asked, but she just have to listen to him this time. He carries her to the bathroom and places her on the tub. While waiting for the tub to be filled with water, he touches her cheeks and discovers that they are so cold. Her body is getting warmer from his touch. She can't believe it. He notices it and she replies that it's because he's touching her. She says it's because she's embarrassed, not because she likes him touching her or because she got excited. That was a suspicious and strong denial. He brushes her lips and tells her that he'll have to touch her in many places because they're still cold. He starts from her lips and kisses her. He smiles and tells her that she's so cute. He tells her that every inch of her is adorable, asking if no one ever told her that. He loosens her bathrobe and kisses her body. She stops him, asking if it's proper that they do that in bathroom, saying that she tub is full and she's a bit cold. He replies that she's hitting his weak spots. She looks at him. It looks like he can tell what she's thinking and it's making her feel uneasy. He tells her that she can't be cold, that he'll take her clothes down and they'll go into the water. They are both inside the bathtub. She asks if he won't catch a cold and he replies that he'll be fine, that he doesn't get sick that easily. He tells her that if she gets sick, he'll keep her locked up in his house and take care of her. She replies that if she gets sick she would go home, saying that it would be awful to get him sick. He's surprised to hear that, asking who will take care of her in her house. He tells her that it doesn't matter who's at her house, that she shouldn't get sick. If she gets sick, she'll stay here with him, saying he wants to be the one to take care of her. She calls him and asks if today was hectic because of her. He replies that he can't say that, because it has been hectic ever since he met her, saying that it wasn't just today. He tells her that things are crazy when it comes to her, saying that he decided to marry her when they met for the second time, and he doesn't care about work and other important matters. that all his attention is on her. He tells her that he hopes she can erase all the sadness and pain in her mind and just focus on him and only him. It's the next morning, they are both on the bed. Yooyoung wakes up and calls Jihoon, but he didn't reply. She thinks that he's asleep. She looks at him and admires him. He has a great skin. There's something cut about him too. Her hands were going to his face when he held her hand, asking what she's doing. What if she told him that she was watching him because he looks cute when he's sleeping? She replies that she was wondering if he was asleep. He tells her that he actually woke up a bit earlier. She asked what time and he tells her when she tried to leave her side. She tells him that he has been up for a while, asking why he didn't say anything. He replies that he wanted to see if she'll run away again. He tells her that he once spent an incredible night with one woman, but she was gone when he woke up the next day. She replies that there's no point running now. She won't be able to, and she have already decided to get married. He replies that she sounds like she'd run away if she had the chance. He sits up suggesting that she should start living with him from today. She asks if it's possible, and he replies that they'll have to make it possible. He tells her that he wants to be with her every day, and although he is happy with their current situation, he doesn't want her to go back to that house. She tells him that nothing bad happened. He replies that she says nothing bad happened yet she was crying. It was a day like any other. She was hurt by her mother and sister's word, but it wasn't just because of that. She had so much fun in Yooyoung that she forgot about the things she needs to take care of. She didn't realize her heart was floating on cloud 9 and it crashed to the ground. She was miserable and sorry. She was so overwhelmed by the guilt she felt for Hyuk. She replies him that she just burst into tears for no reason. He replies that he knows that she's not the type of person to burst out in tears easily. He tells her she looks unhappy when she's at home. He embraces her and tells her that he wants her to move out of there. She tells him that it won't be today, but she wants to live with him as soon as possible too. He replies that he'd wait. It's in a hotel room. Haeyoung is drinking a wine. She's wondering if she should have picked a different one. The doorbell rings. She reaches for the door and lets Jae-woo in. They hug each other. She asks if he misses her and he replies that he was surprised to hear from her asking if she was lonely. She says no and he asks her why she wanted to see him then. And in a hotel room at that, she tells him that she wants to talk with him. He asks if it's about how she missed him. She shoves him away from her, saying that she called him here because she didn't want anyone to see them together, that she hates being the center of people's gossip, reminding him that they are no longer in a relationship. He replies that he thought she missed his body. She asks why she would. He thought that she dated him because of his body. He'd be nothing if he wasn't the heir of YP industry. He comments that she's still so haughty. He sits on the bed and asks her what she wants to discuss with him. She replies that she has a favor to ask of him, that he should look into Cha Jihoon for her. Jae-woo asks why she wants to know about him, that he heard that he's marrying her sister. She tells him not to ask, but go ahead and do as he was told, that he should find out what kind of man he is, his past relationships and if he's dating anyone. Jae-woo asks again if she wants him to find out if he has another woman besides her sister. She asks if he can do it or not. He replies that he can. She tells him to let her know what he finds out. He asks if that's all. She doesn't understand. He tells her that she must be mistaken, that since they are no longer in a relationship, he is not under any obligation to do favors for her. She replies that she's not asking him to do it for free, that she has something he needs. He asks what that is and she replies that he should bring the information first, then they'll talk about that one later. He tells her that she hasn't changed. He stands up to go, telling her that he'll find out every detail, but in return, she should give him a down payment. She pushes him to the bed, telling him that if once she'll pay him this way. It's afternoon and it's raining. Yooyoung is in the office. Ms. Hong comments about how cold it is inside. Yooyoung replies that she wonders when it'll stop raining. Ms. Hong says that she hates the weather and would like to eat noodles. Ms. Hong asks her if she isn't going to court today, and she replies that she has a sitting by 3 p.m. Ms. Hong advises her not to go if she doesn't want to, since it's raining, saying that it's a good thing she has to go home from there. She advises that she leaves earlier so that she'll be able to eat before going for the sitting. recommending a lot of restaurants she could get good food. Yooyoung picks up her phone. She wonders if she should call Jihoon, but he had told her to contact him whenever she wants. He picks up and calls her name. It's just her name, but he makes it sound like a special word. She tells him that she'll have to go to a district court later in the day, and she'll be taking a train there. He asks why she isn't taking a cab, saying that it's tiring to move by train. She replies that it's fine, that it'll give her time to sort out her thoughts on her way there. She asks him if he'll be able to join her for lunch. He replies that he's free, and even if he's not, he should make time for her. Asking where he should meet her, he also suggests that if it's too hectic for her, they could meet at his hotel. She's surprised. She'll like to see what Jihoon looks like in his office. He tells her that she can come, saying that she won't bother him, that she should come and be his much-needed rain in his dry workplace. He offers to pick her up since it is raining, but she tells him that she's already at the train station. He replies that he'll be happily waiting for her. She walks towards the train, wondering if that's what a real relationship is like, saying that she loves it. She gets to the hotel. It's a tall building. She'll be seeing Jihoon soon. She's so nervous. While walking, she bumps into a young lady, who asks why she was standing there. The lady walks away complaining. Yooyoung wonders what the lady's problem was, because she's the one that bumped into her. She notices that her face looks familiar. She brushes the thought away, concluding that lady is very rude. While watching the lady walk away, Jihoon meets her, asking what she's looking at, and she says that it's nothing, that she bumped into someone. He asks if she's hurt and she says no, that it wasn't anything serious. He suggests that they go inside. He asks if she's busy and she said no, and she asked him also and he said he's free now, that if he was busy, he'll clear his schedule. She's surprised that he'll go that far. He asks what type of food she'll love to eat, if it's Japanese or Italian or Korean. They all sound great in her ears. As they walk inside, she notices that everyone was looking at them. Then Jihoon owns this place. They sit down and the attendant comes to tell her that the food would be ready soon. She feels uncomfortable and tells him that they shouldn't have come here. He asks why and she tells him that she thinks his employees are uncomfortable because he came here to eat with a woman. The host looked really nervous and they also have to be careful about strange rumors. He asks if she meant something about him eating in a restaurant with a woman. She says yes. He tells her that that's not a strange rumor, that she's going to be his wife, and they'll always be together. He tells her that besides, his employees will think it's interesting, since it's his first time coming here, that before, he only came here for business meetings. He tells her that it's common for him to eat at his hotel, so she doesn't have to worry about anything. He tells her that she must come here a lot, that way he can check whether there are any inconveniences from the customer's perspective, and whether the food quality and service are good. He reaches for her hands and holds it, telling her that he went to the lounge bar that day for the same reasons. She tells him that he's very meticulous, that he even works when he's off duty. He smiles and says that he's glad he did, that that's how he met her. She wonders what would have happened if they hadn't met that night. Would she still be getting married to Jihoon? Would she have liked him this much? Would she have felt the stability of this tightly intertwined hands? The host brought the appetizers while Jihoon still held her hands. She can't believe she's holding her hands in front of his employee. But one thing is for sure, she no longer wants to let go of this hand. After they finish eating, they begin to leave. He can't believe that she has to go for court in this weather. She tells him that there's nothing she can do about it. He volunteers to take her there. But she said it's not far from here and besides he's busy. He tells her that he took care of all the urgent things in the morning and can just finish the rest of the work in the night. But most of all, he wants to give her a ride. He asks if he can pleadingly. She agrees, thinking who would say no to that kind of face. In the car, he asks her when she wants to have the wedding, that it is time they decided, asking her for her schedule. She tells him that she won't be busy for a while. She thinks the sooner she marries Jihoon, the better it'll be for Sunwoo Fashion. Her family would want to rush the wedding. She replies that they'll do it according to his schedule, that she'll also be free after next week. He asks her where she wants to get married. She asks him back the same question. He looks at her. She wonders why he's looking at her like that. He tells her that she doesn't have to force herself to go along with what he wants. He tells her that he wished to have their wedding wherever she wants. he continues saying that she might think he has all the powers, but is crazy about her, and she's the one in control there. He'll willingly let her take the reins, so she should do anything she wants, that he's going to do it her way. She looks at him and thinks she admits that at first, she was doing it for Sunwoo fashion, since the ones who would benefit from this marriage are her family, who are far lower in the financial hierarchy. However, this have nothing to do with them now. She tells him that she's not forcing herself to do anything, she just like what he likes. She doesn't know about other women, but she doesn't have any fantasies about her wedding. She thought marriage was just for politics, not for love. That she was just a chess piece played by her parents, but this marriage with Jihoon is different. He's not just any partner in an arranged marriage, he's the man that she want. She tells him that if he likes it, so does she. Yooyoung tells him that she means what she said. He looks at her and she asks if she has said something wrong. He replies no, that he's happy and so overjoyed that he has to hug her right now. He hugs her warmly, telling her that she's so unpredictable. She feels like she can hear her heartbeat. He asks what he should do with her now. She replies that they are in a car. He asks if she's nervous that he'd do something to her. She replies that she thinks he'll kiss her. In her mind she imagines that afterwards, a delicate hand that acts as if it's handling a glass, which makes her entire body tingle. He replies saying that she thinks he'll kiss her. He holds her cheeks, saying that he can't believe she thinks he'll kiss her after saying those words to him. He tells her that she's still so naive, that's why he wants and desire her more. No, he has no idea what kind of wild thoughts she imagined about him. He leans over and kisses her. She feels she should push him away. In this rate, her makeup will be ruined and they are in the car. But she can't resist him, her senses keeps getting weirder, she's losing her mind. From Jihoon's perspective, he has never been obsessed with anything since he was a child. There was no reason to, because there was nothing he wanted. Then again, he would get things before he desires them, so he thought he was neither possessive or obsessive. He guess he has been wrong about himself this whole time. Even though she's in front of him, he misses her. Even though she's in his hand, he wants to hold her. They continue kissing until Yooyoung stops him, reminding him that she have a trial in the afternoon, so her clothes can't get wrinkled, therefore he should be gentle. She tells him to be gentle so that there won't be any wrinkles. She tells him that she has lost it. He pulls the chair down. Yes, there was nothing he wanted before he met her. He wasn't obsessed with anything, until he kissed her. When Yooyoung sometimes shows a part of her heart like this, it makes him breathless. He's filled with one desire from head to toe, which is to have this woman right now. It's night and it's in Jihoon's family house. His mother tells the maid to prepare something nutritious because of the weather. She comes to the dining room and everyone is seated except for Jihoon. She asks where he is and his sister Chaerin replies that he hasn't come here yet, and she hasn't heard from him either. She concludes that it may be because he went to sea. His mother is surprised. She wouldn't be surprised if Sunghoon was late, but she can't believe Jihoon didn't get here on time. He has never been late before. She asks Chaerin if she heard anything from Jihoon, whether he said he was going to meet the daughter of Sunwoo Fashion's CEO. Chaerin replies no, but she's sure that's what he's doing, because he had once invited her to his house. Her mother is surprised to hear that. Her handsome and competent son, unlike Sunghoon, who gave her a headache with all those girls he dated, Jihoon was the perfect son who never caused any trouble. Since even Sunghoon got engaged to a girl from a prominent family, she assumed that her obedient Jihoon would get married as well, but he always says his blind dates are fine, but refuses to date them, and he doesn't meet the same woman more than twice. Even though he's her son, she have no idea what's on his mind. She had even thought of starting to advertise him publicly. It seems like that was just yesterday. The second daughter of Sunwoo Fashion's CEO, a smart daughter-in-law, who was normal like everyone else. She wonders what if she controls her son. Chaerin tells her that when Jihoon called her the previous night, it seemed like Yooyoung was with him. Everyone is surprised. Sunghoon asks what type of woman she is that Jihoon, who has no interest in girls, is so hung up on her. Chaerin replies that none of them have seen her before, that the last time she asked about it, Jihoon told her not to bother him. She comments that it's an arranged marriage, yet Jihoon is acting like it's one great love story. Sunghoon replies that she'll be introduced to them if actually Jihoon wants to marry her. The door opens and Jihoon comes in. He asks if they were talking about him. His mother tells him that he's late. He apologizes, saying that he finished work late. His mother notices that he looked so pale, asking if there are a lot of work in the office or any problem. He replies no, that he had work to do on weekend, but it got pushed to weekday. Chaerin replies that because he was too busy dating, he ignores her and thanks his mother for the food. While they are eating, he discovers that his mother is staring at him. He asks her if there's something she wants to say to him. She replies that he should eat up first. He tells her to say go ahead and say it, that he's almost finished. She asks him if things are going well with Sunwoo Fashion's CEO daughter, and he says yes. The way he replied made his mother angry. His father interjects, telling him that they'll love to meet the woman he's seeing, that he should bring her home, that if he wants to set a date for the wedding, he should do it quickly too. His mother agrees, saying that they won't eat her. He tells them that he was also thinking of introducing her to them, since they are getting married, but there's something he needs to tell them before that it's important. Yooyoung is with her father in his study. She tells him that Jihoon would like to meet them, but he replies that it's better for her to meet Jihoon's family first, that she should make sure to get on their good side so that the marriage will go through, saying that he doesn't need to remind her how important the marriage is. Yooyoung is with Jihoon. She tells him that she needs to meet his family first, saying that he had already come to her house once. He cuts her short, asking her if it was her parents' idea. She couldn't reply. Jihoon is so quick to catch on to things. How can she tells him that his father is trying to speed up the marriage, because of the business contract with his family. It's the day to meet his parents. She's in the car with him. The saloon did her hair and makeup nicely. She should be fine with this. He tells her that she looks different. She wonders if she looks awkward or it was a compliment. She asks him if it's a bit weird. He says no, that it seems like she has always been wearing clothes like that. He tells her that every time he changes her style like that, it's so natural that he wonders what she originally looks like. She feels awkward. She brings down the mirror to check herself. He tells her not to be nervous. She wonders how she can't be nervous. She'll be meeting his parents and siblings. She'll be introducing herself to the family of the man she loves. They get to the house. She's amazed by the amazing structure. She never knew that there was such a big house like this in Seoul. Jihoon welcomes her, telling her that his father thought privacy was important, so he built a high wall and made it possible for them to do most things at home. He thought he needed a big space because of his 3 children. She looks around. It doesn't look like a family of 5 could live here. She knew his family was wealthier than hers, but she didn't know it was this grand. No wonder her father said she had to get married to Jihoon. He looks at her and sees her thinking. He asks her if she's worried that they'll have to live here after they get married. She replies no, that she hadn't thought about that. Then again, she's sure there are many things a daughter-in-law of a prestigious family like this needs to do. She tells him that if they have to live here, she wouldn't mind. He replies that she might be okay, but it's not okay with him. He says that he's going to look for a place as soon as they meet her parents. She asks if it's uncomfortable for him to move back to his parents since he lived alone for a long time. He replies that it's not that he only doesn't have enough patience to share the time he spends with her with other people. He tells her that he wants them to live just by themselves, because he likes being with just her. She also likes the sound of that. They enter the house and meet the family in the sitting room. She introduces herself and thanks his mother for inviting her. She offers a gift to her which she collects and tells her to come and have tea while they wait for dinner. Yooyoung feels so awkward. They all sit around in chairs, while drinking. Chaerin calls her Uni, asking if she be calling her that. She replies that it's okay. Chaerin says that that's how she addresses Sunghoon's fiancé. Yooyoung tells her to call her that too. Just like Jihoon, she has well-defined features and is very beautiful. Both of Jihoon's siblings are good-looking. Chaerin comments that she heard Yooyoung passed her bar exams in one sitting. Yooyoung replies that it actually took her 2.5 years to prepare for it. So technically, she didn't pass it at one go. Chaerin asks her why she didn't take it in her first year. She replies that she got flu at that time. Chaerin still believes that she was great. at least passing it by writing only once. She asks her if her grades were okay while she was in college. Yooyoung replies that she got average grades. Chaerin asks her why she entered her dad's company. That question made her think she liked studying law, and she raced forward because she wanted to pass the bar exams. However, when she graduated from law school, she felt lost, so she just naturally joined her dad's company. Yooyoung replies that at that time, she thought it was the right thing to do. Chaerin, wanting to know more, asks if she'll still be working at Sunwoo Fashion after she gets married, or she'll join a law firm. Yooyoung tries to answer, but Jihoon cuts her short, reminding Chaerin that he had told her not to bother Yooyoung. Chaerin replies that she wasn't bothering, that she just wanted some information when choosing her career. Jihoon tells her that she's not supposed to ask such a hard question, especially when they just met. Yooyoung tells him that she's fine. At that moment, his mother tells Chaerin that she's glad she brought it up, because she was also curious to know what Yooyoung would do with her career after getting married. She directs her question towards Yooyoung, asking her what her thoughts on that question was. Jihoon calls his mom, who wonders if she shouldn't ask any questions. Jihoon says they'll talk later after discussing it themselves. Yooyoung explains they haven't talked about marriage plans yet because everything's moving fast, but she promises to let his mom know first when they do. His mom changes the subject, asking Yooyoung about her hobbies. Yooyoung admits she doesn't have any. His mom mentions she enjoys gardening and asks if Yooyoung knows about it. Yooyoung says she's only seen it in magazines. His mom invites her to see her garden sometime. Yooyoung happily agrees. Yooyoung and Jihoon start to get up, but his mom insists they go alone. Jihoon offers to join, but his mom questions why he's worried she'll say something wrong, adding that Yooyoung will soon be family, and she won't say anything hurtful. Yooyoung reassures Jihoon she'll be fine, and just wants to see the plants quickly. His mother takes Yooyoung to the plants. They are beautiful. She tells Yooyoung that when she looks at them, she finds them endearing. Yooyoung tells her that it's her first time seeing something like this and it looks beautiful. Jihoon's mother continues, telling her that she likes how they turn out exactly how she wants. Although it's hard to form them to go in the specific direction she wants, it's fun to do it with his own hands. So she started potting plants about 10 years ago. She tells Jihoon that if she pays attention to it and put in a lot of effort, it'll come out exactly how she wants it. But children aren't like potted plants. She tells her that although Sunghoon got engaged to the girl her husband and her chose, he's still distracted as if he doesn't like her. But as for Jihoon, she tells Yooyoung that at first she didn't like her. Yooyoung, who's listening silently, thinks that it's understandable, because she heard Jihoon went on a lot of blind dates with so many daughters of prestigious families. The matchmaker was so curious how she managed to win his heart, so she's sure his mother feels the same way. Jihoon's mother continues, telling her that she got terrible grades when she was young, so she thought a daughter-in-law who passed the bar exams would look down on her. Yooyoung replies quickly that she'll never do that. Jihoon's mother tells her that she's not saying she'd do that she was just intimidated for no reason and felt uneasy about many things. She tells Yooyoung that she wouldn't have liked anyone that Jihoon brought home. She hated the thought of someone taking her son, that she wouldn't have liked her, regardless of how good she is at studying or how beautiful she is, asking if she understands why she didn't like her at first. Yooyoung tells her that it's fine, that it's understandable why she would think that way, that all parents would think the same. Jihoon's mother thanks her for saying that. She comments that she's sure her parents didn't like her son that much too, that she'll understand how it feels when she gets her own child. She tells Yooyoung that that's how she felt until Jihoon told her something last week, that she lost her brother in an accident when she was little. Yooyoung's heart beat fast. How much had he told her? Will she rebuke her for not being able to protect Hyuk? Will she reprimand her and asks how she's going to get married and have a child when she can't even look after her own brother? Jihoon's mother tells her that she have a similar scar, that when she was a child, her father brought his daughter from another woman home, that the only one who knows about her now is her husband. She continues, saying that since she was a child, she was thrilled to have a younger sister, though her mother was tormented. At first there were no problems since she grew up as the housekeeper's daughter. However, After she grew up and realized the truth, she lost a lot of courage. People bullied her in school because of the rumors. Then one day, she took her own life. Jihoon's mother blames herself for the death, that she was 2 years older than her, and despite living with her, he couldn't understand her. She tells Yooyoung that she understands how she feels and she shouldn't blame herself, and she hopes she'll live happily with Jihoon, saying that she reminded her of herself when she was distraught and couldn't sleep. She tells Yooyoung that Jihoon told them that they need to trust him and love her, because she has a wound in her heart. He said that she's a good person, and also said that there'll never be someone like her. Jihoon's mother moves close to Yooyoung, saying that she trusts Jihoon, that he has never been wrong. She tells her that she doesn't have a nice way of speaking, so she can't act like the kind mothers out there. Yooyoung thanks her for thinking of her so kindly, promising to do her best. His mother replies that Yooyoung don't have to be good to her, that she should just be happy with Jihoon, and also she tells her that since it's her first time of being a mother-in-law and she's not very clever, she might end up hurting her later. She tells her not to hesitate to let her know if she does anything wrong, that they're family now. Yooyoung starts crying, and Jihoon's mom looks worried. She asks if Yooyoung is upset, because she initially didn't like her. Yooyoung shakes her head and explains it's not that. Jihoon's mom reassures her, saying she likes her now and credits Yooyoung for Jihoon considering marriage. She apologizes, but Jihoon interjects, saying Yooyoung is crying out of gratitude. No one has ever understood her so deeply before. Jihoon's mom pleads with Yooyoung to stop crying, worried Jihoon might think she threatened her and get upset. She pats Yooyoung's shoulder gently and suggests they eat because she's prepared a lot of delicious food. Tears continue to stream down Yooyoung's face. She's overwhelmed by this newfound warmth and can't seem to stop crying. After the meeting, they are going home. Jihoon tells her that the meeting went well. He tells her that he didn't even notice how fast time flew, saying that they'll be meeting her family next. Yes, the say have finally come. She has lived with her family for 27 years, but still finds home uncomfortable, even more so after she found out how her mother felt about her. She can't believe she have to go there with Jihoon though. He touches her and asks if she's okay. She says she's fine. He asks if she's free on Tuesday. She replies yes. He tells her he wants to borrow her that day. She asks if they are going anyway. He tells her that it's a secret, that she shouldn't make any plans that day. It's Monday. Yooyoung is in her office. It's 11 o'clock. She's tired and stretches. She wonders if it's because of her nervousness, or she's afraid of Jihoon meeting her family. She's also worried about what Jihoon wants to do tomorrow, where they are going. She thinks that since they went to Yooyoung the last time, she wonders if she should carry her passport along. She stands up from her seat, saying she imagines too much. She decides to go and get a cup of coffee. One of her colleagues comes in with Ms. Hong and they exchange pleasantries. Yooyoung asked if they had work outside the office today, and they replied yes, that they have been busy recently. The man asks if Yooyoung would like to join them for coffee. She replies that she has gotten one already. The man is sad, saying that he thought he'd finally have the chance of treating her to coffee. Yooyoung replies that they still another time. She sees that he's still uncomfortable around her. The man tells her that she really comes to the lounge, asking if she has a lot to do. She replies that she has got some things to think about. She tells him that she's also tried today, because she stayed up late watching drama. He's surprised to hear, asking her if she knows Office Love Trauma, that it's a popular dram. He tells her that an actress there, Yosea, is so pretty that he became her fan. Yooyoung asks him if he likes a girl who's in her early 20s, and is old enough to be her daughter. He replies that he just likes her as a fan. Yooyoung thinks about the name. Ms. Hong asks if she doesn't know her, showing her the picture, and asks if she knows her, saying that she is an actress who has been on the rise these days, but she was actually an adult trainee. Yooyoung remembers the girl she bumped into the other day. She wonders if bumping into somebody means one knows the person. She tells them that she saw her on the street last time. Ms. Hong asks if she looks pretty in person too. She says yes. The man interjects, telling Ms. Hong that it's not right for her to judge the actress by her looks. She tells him that Yosea is a celebrity, that if she were beautiful she wouldn't have been a celebrity too. Yooyoung tells her that she's pretty too. Ms. Hong comments that Yosea is not a great actress, but she keeps appearing on TV, asking whether she has connections with showbiz. she concludes that all celebrities are the same. The man replies that even Yooyoung says Yosea is pretty, that's why she has been appearing in so many shows. Yooyoung is deep in thoughts. Yosea is pretty, but there's something off about her. She doesn't have a good feeling about her because of the way she talks and the vibes she exudes. At MGH Distribution Division, Sunghoon opens the door to let Jihoon in. He thanks him for coming. Jihoon asks why he told him to come. He replies that he just wanted to see his little brother. He never invited Jihoon anyway near the company, because he's afraid he'll take his position, but why did he call him today? Sunghoon congratulates him for getting the license for the duty-free shop. Jihoon feels that something isn't right. He tells his brother that he's very busy, that he's supposed to be working right now, saying that he knows he wants to say something, so he should say it already. Sunghoon looks at him. This is why he doesn't like him. Jihoon knew that his brother has an urgent request. Sunghoon gives him a document, saying that he needs to talk to him about someone. It's Yosea. Yosea, an actress who used to be an idol trainee. Jihoon asks what about her. Sunghoon tells him that he have been having a hard time because of her lately. Jihoon doesn't understand. Sunghoon tells him that he has been seeing her for a year now. Jihoon is surprised. His brother tells him that it wasn't in a bad way, that they both liked each other. Jihoon thinks fast. A scandal between a rich man's son in his 30s and an actress in her 20s could hurt the comparison, but the bigger problem is, he has a fiancée. Jihoon asks him about Ha Jane, his fiancée. He replies that she's not aware yet. He asks him if he's not going to marry her. Sunghoon replies that he would, that he just had fun with Yosea for a short time. Jihoon asks if 1 year is a short time. He replies that things just happened, saying that she has been stressing him lately. He asks why, and he tells him that she has threatened to tell the media that they are dating, that she's going to say they are in an official relationship. She wants to be his wife. Jihoon looks at him. Ha Jane is the daughter of Congressman Han Jung-hwan, who was the former prime minister, and is currently a future presidential candidate. Recently, it was assumed that Congressman Ha was most likely to become president, so MGH Distribution stock price also rose. However, if this scandal is exposed to the public, Sunghoon continues, saying that it's not because she loves him though, that she comes from a poor family, so she's desperate to succeed and she's trying to gain the title of his wife. Jihoon asks him how he comes in the story. Sunghoon begs him to help him, saying that it's nothing hard, that he should just do all that's written on the file. Jihoon reads it, and tells him to promise him that he won't chest again. Sunghoon replies that he won't, blaming his cheating on the absence of his fiancée who's working overseas. Jihoon berates him for blaming Ha Jane, who's working hard overseas. Sunghoon admits that he was wrong, begging him to help him, saying that the presidential election is coming up and Jane would be returning to Korea soon, there can't be any problems. And he doesn't want their mother to find out too. Jihoon reads the document. Honestly, he doesn't want to help him. However, aside from anything else, if their mother find out that Sunghoon had an affair, he tells him that would be the first and the last time he'll help do something like that. He leaves the office, slamming the door. He reaches his car, and Mr. Kim, noticing his aura, asks him how the meeting went. He replies that his brother said something revolting. He asks Mr. Kim if he knows the actress Yosea. He replies yes, and he tells him to arrange a meeting with her. Jihoon sits down, resting his back. He's exhausted. He doesn't think he'll be annoyed anymore if he sees Yooyoung. He saw her yesterday, but he miss her already. It's Jihoon's place. Yooyoung stands and enjoys the view outside. Things were so hectic when she came here the last time, that she didn't notice how nice the view is from Jihoon's place. She was curious what he had planned for them, but he had invited her to her place. She wonders why. While watching the view, Jihoon comes from behind and hugs her, asking her what she was so distracted with that she didn't even notice when he called. She apologizes, saying that the sunset was so beautiful. He suggests that since she likes the view, they should eat on the terrace. She feels it would be stressful. He tells her that it's fine, that the weather is beautiful, so they should go outside. She looks at him. She wonders what's going on, noticing that Jihoon feels different today. He smiles more often and looks happier. They are outside eating. She thanks him for inviting her. He urges her to enjoy, This looks at the array of dishes on the table and asks if he's the one that prepared all of that. He replies yes, that he had been doing it since in the morning. She wonders if he ordered the food from the restaurant, or the housekeeper made it, or did he make it? She asks him again if he's the one that cooked all of that. She asks him if he cooked all of that. He replies that he technically did it. She's not convinced. He had clearly told her he has never cooked before. He said the most he could do was to make instant noodles. She asked again if he cooked everything by himself, and he replies that he can't lie to her, telling her that he made it with a cooking instructor this morning and he grilled the steak after she came, but they made everything else together. She now knows why everything looked so fancied. She asks if he has been learning how to cook lately. He replies that he just started today. He tells her that he had a friend, when he studied abroad in America, who liked cooking for his girlfriend. Sometimes he would let him taste the dishes he made. At first they were completely inedible. Jihoon didn't understand him. It wasn't like he couldn't afford nice meals. He once asked him if it's not better to buy food, but he said he just wanted to cook for his girlfriend because he likes her. At that time, Jihoon didn't like someone to do that, but most of all, he didn't know the joy of cooking. He wondered what was the point of going through all that trouble to serve each other food, wondering what if it doesn't taste good. But, when he heated up milk for her, her body was so cold that all he wanted to do was warm it up. After seeing her blowing on the milk to cool it down and drink it, he realized what his friend meant when he said he wanted to do everything for his girlfriend. Jihoon wanted to make all kinds of dishes for her. He tells her to eat up, that the food might taste worse if it gets cold. As she takes a bite, she wonders if anyone has ever prepares such a heartfelt meal for her. She tells him that it's delicious. He tells her that he has tried the food so many times while cooking that he didn't know what it tastes like. She tells him that it's really good. She doesn't want to cry, there's no reason to shed tears, but she can't control it. Jihoon asks if he made a mistake or brought up a bad memory. She replies that it's not that. It's a good day, the weather is nice, and the food is delicious. It's a wonderful day and the man she likes is right next to her. But why is she crying? Jihoon tells her that he has no intention of making her cry today. She apologizes. He tells her there's no need, saying that that's not what he meant. He stands up and kneels in front of her. He says that he doesn't know why she's crying. But it's not because she's sad. She replies that it's because she's so happy. He tells her that as long as she's not sad, it's fine with him. She apologizes for crying, saying that she wanted today to be perfect. She remembers and asks whether today is a special day. He grabs her hand and tells her that he first asked her to marry him after their one-night stand at the hotel. The same day is their blind date. That's how their relationship started. He tells her that back then, he wasn't in love with her. He simply thought she was interesting. She was seducing him with her lips and yet her eyes were sad. He couldn't understand why she didn't want to marry the person she had a one-night stand with, when she came to the blind date to get married. He tells her that he didn't know the reason, but he was amused. He had never had such an exciting, heart-pounding experience with someone. All he could think of was her. He wanted to fill her head with thoughts of him, but his head was filled with thoughts of her first. When did it start? Maybe it was when he saw her crying under the rain. Maybe it was when she hugged him after successfully surfing in the beach in Yooyoung, or maybe it was when they first met. He continues, telling her that although he doesn't remember the exact reason or timing, he tells her that he loves her. He fell in love with her. He brings out a ring and places in her finger. He tells her that it's the first time he had ever wanted someone like this. That's why he wants to ask her again if she'll marry him. This is where the story ends for now. Drop a comment if you enjoyed watching and would also want the season 2 to be posted when out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Until next time, ciao.